Chapter 605. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little. We provide you with interesting novels to read. I still have some power left, Night Sorrow said as he let out a sigh. Your surname is Yi. Are you a descendant of Night Moon? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow seriously. Is that important? Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and asked. Permanent G exempt FZ, look little, say 9-inch. It's not important, but I still hope that you are. Night Moon Dynasty's members are the most courageous group of people. Back then, they were the #1 domain in the Tai Ching domain. What about now? Tianfeng Dynasty, Golden Dragon King Dynasty, they are all scum. Internal wars are fine, but external wars are trash, Yun Huang said. I have a mount. Do you? Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang. I really don't have one. But don't worry, we are out of the city. We can just grab one, Yun Huang said embarrassedly. You're going to catch them as you please. Yi Shan looked at Yun Huang in surprise. Let's go. You'll know in a moment. After Yun Huang finished speaking, he called for a beast carriage and called for Yi Shan to enter. My mount is rank 5. You can grab one, but can it keep up? Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang, puzzled. After leaving the city, Yun Huang waved his arm and a shadow appeared. The shadow roared and disappeared. A moment later, a rank 2 gray wolf flew in front of Yun Huang. F***CK, can't you catch a better looking one? Yun Huang reached out and slapped Grey Wolf's head, then scolded. Night Sorrow was puzzled because everything in front of him was too strange. A rank 2 Grey Wolf could fly. No one would believe it. What Night Sorrow couldn't understand was that the Grey Wolf was full of oppressive death energy. Let's go. Let's talk as we go. Yun Huang's body flashed and landed on the Grey Wolf's back. He directly rode on the Grey Wolf's back. His legs were dangling, almost touching the ground. Once Yun Huang sat down, the Grey Wolf immediately rose into the air and flew forward at an extremely fast speed. Night Sorrow released Tianyu and chased after Yun Huang, who was riding the Grey Wolf. Look at his mount. Next time, I'll F***king catch a better looking one. Yun Huang slapped Grey Wolf's head again, then looked at Night Sorrow in embarrassment. This thing doesn't know any better, it always embarrasses me. Yi Shang shook his head, unable to understand. Then, Yun Huang told him about his treasure, the ghost wolf with the death attribute. It was a soul beast that Yun Huang had captured in the land of demons. It was currently at the mid-stage of stage 5 and was proficient in soul attacks. It was also proficient in control. Currently, it was controlling the stage 2 Grey Wolf. So strong. Night Sorrow looked at the Grey Wolf that Yun Huang was sitting on and asked in surprise. Of course. That's why it casually caught a stage 5 mount. Actually, it's just a carrier for me to sit comfortably on. However, its worldview is very disgusting. It thinks that wolves are mighty. If I ask it to catch a demonic beast as a mount, it will definitely catch a wolf. Yun Huang said and slapped the Grey Wolf again. Fast. The Grey Wolf that the ghost wolf controlled was very fast. Although it couldn't be compared to Tianyu, it was just a little bit slower. Then how long can this Grey Wolf last? Night Sorrow asked as he sat on Tianyu's back. This has nothing to do with the Grey Wolf itself. Right now, the ghost wolf is using its own energy to fly. If you don't want to destroy this Grey Wolf, you can just let it go. This Grey Wolf will be as good as sleeping and nothing will happen to it. We've ridden it for so long, why can't we kill it? Yun Huang rode the Grey Wolf and flew beside Tianyu, who had slowed down. It was as if he was riding a horse. Then what's the highest level of demonic beasts that the ghost wolf can control? Night Sorrow asked. Demonic beasts below stage 5 are not a problem. Demonic beasts above stage 5 will depend on the strength of the soul. If you encounter a beast with a high soul strength, the most you can do is wipe out its soul. It won't be able to control it. Yun Huang said. Thank you for coming with me. I don't have much to thank you for. This is a stage 4 silver-winged eagle. Try it and see how it works. Night Sorrow threw a beast-taming crystal to Yun Huang. Then let's go down and study it. Yun Huang didn't argue. After receiving the beast-taming crystal, he controlled the ghost wolf to land. Night Sorrow controlled Tianyu to land as well. Yun Huang then communicated with the beast-taming crystal and made the silver-winged eagle recognize him as its master. A stage 4, stage 6 silver-winged eagle. Night Sorrow, you're awesome. This thing is useful to me. I can control both the silver-winged eagle and the ghost wolf. Normally, I can let the silver-winged eagle fly by itself. When I need speed, I can let the ghost wolf wrap around the silver-winged eagle and fly. As long as the eagle doesn't resist, it's cool and comfortable to sit on. Yun Huang liked the silver-winged eagle very much. After the silver-winged eagle recognized him as its master, he gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. After that, the two of them continued flying. However, Night Sorrow was still accommodating Yun Huang. Yun Huang was controlling the silver-winged eagle and the ghost wolf to work together. He couldn't let the ghost wolf hurt the silver-winged eagle. After all, the silver-winged eagle wasn't a demonic beast that would give up after using it once. Night Sorrow didn't know that not long after they left the Tai Ching region, Ji Yuhao and Ji Yufeng had bribed the guards of the teleporting formation and asked them where Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were teleporting to. After that, they chased them from the Golden Dragon City to the Dragontail City. When they arrived at the Dragontail City, Ji Yuhao easily asked the guards about Night Sorrow and Yun Huang's whereabouts. Ji Yuhao took out a map and glanced at it, then nodded and said, Night Sorrow, his surname is Yi. His target might be the Night Moon City. Let's go. This time, they will die for sure. Ji Yuhao and Ji Yufeng were both venerables. They were much faster than Tianyu and the ghost wolf. They directly chased after Night Sorrow and Yun Huang. Brother, I have to go back to work after accompanying you for a while. I really don't like it, but I have no choice. Sitting on the silver-winged eagle's back, Yun Huang took out 2 jars of wine and threw one to Night Sorrow. What? Is there something you don't want to do? Night Sorrow opened the jar and asked. Yes, there are some things that I won't hide from you. Tianji Tower thinks highly of me and gave me a stupid position. I don't like it very much, but my old man said that if I dared to refuse, he would break my legs. You know, my old man has never spoken loudly to me since I was a child. Even if my old man yelled at me, my old man would stand up for me. So this time, there is no room for discussion. Yun Huang sighed and said. Since you said so, I'll tell you that I'm also a member of Tianji Tower. However, I still have a lot of freedom. As long as I don't betray Tianji Tower, I can do whatever I want. Night Sorrow said. You're also a member of Tianji Tower? That's good. But let me tell you, you have to work hard. My status is not low. If we can't play together in the future, it will be boring. Yun Huang said. We're friends, we're brothers. No matter what, we'll play together. Night Sorrow said. When he said this, Night Sorrow turned around, because he found that someone was chasing after him. Yun Huang, hurry up and leave. These two are not friendly. Night Sorrow reminded Yun Huang. Chapter 606. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What are you talking about? Am I, Yun Huang, the kind of person who would abandon his friends and run away? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction, then looked at the two people chasing after him. After noticing their cultivation bases, Yunhuang's expression turned solemn. He was a peak void inquiry stage expert. Naturally, he could also see Ji Yuhao and Ji Yufeng's cultivation bases. At that moment, Ji Yuhao and Ji Yufeng flew over them as well, blocking their way. Night Sorrow's body flashed and left Tianyu's back. Tianyu's speed was fast, but he still couldn't surpass the Venerable One. At this time, he could only fight. Yunhuang also kept the silver-winged eagle and stood beside Night Sorrow. Behind him, there was a dark energy roaring. It was the ghost wolf. "Tell me your name." Night Sorrow extended his right hand and grabbed the reincarnation spear. At the same time, he kept the void Dao stone into the space-time treasure pagoda. "You should know my name, but when you see me, your life will come to an end. I am Ji Yuhao." Ji Yuhao waved the long sword in his hand and said, "I've been to the Eastern Xian Domain and the Medicine Valley, but I didn't find you. My name is Ji Yufeng." Ji Yufeng also took out his long sword. "Both of you are here, very good. Ji Yufeng, you and your people burned down Juyuan town in Medicine Valley, didn't you? You even chopped off the arm of an old man with no cultivation base." Night Sorrow's murderous aura rippled. Love go little say ku if Night Sorrow had a deep grudge with anyone, it would be the two people in front of him. One was the culprit, and the other was the executor. "That's right. This time, I'm not just going to cut off your arm, I'm going to kill you," said Ji Yufeng coldly. "Yunhuang, step back. This has nothing to do with you." Night Sorrow waved his hand at Yunhuang. He did not want to drag Yunhuang down with him. "Today, both of you will die." Ji Yuhao waved his long sword and said, "Brother, look. But they want to kill me as well. There's no other way. Let's fight." Yunhuang waved his hands and a pair of scimitars appeared. "Then you will die." Ji Yuhao snorted coldly and rushed towards Yishan. "I just can't stand people like you." Before Yishan could do anything, Yunhuang charged out. Yunhuang, who had rushed out, looked completely different. The sense of power coming from his body was no longer bright and handsome, but fierce and aggressive. The defensive power shield around his body was dark purple in color, with thunderbolts surging out from it, shaking off Ji Yuhao's space restraint. Seeing Yunhuang stop Ji Yuhao, Night Sorrow dashed towards Ji Yufeng. Two peak void inquiry stage cultivators against two venerables. They could only pick the weaker one first to have a chance. Therefore, Night Sorrow chose to attack Ji Yufeng. Night Sorrow did not dare to delay any longer. He directly activated his void attribute and launched the 7-star brilliant moon spear at Ji Yufeng. Ji Yufeng wielded his long sword and slashed at Yishang. Yishang's peak void inquiry stage cultivation base was nothing to him. However, when their weapons were about to collide against each other, the situation changed. The sword qi released from Ji Yufeng's long sword was directly pushed aside by Yishang's spear light. This was the power of the void nature Jin qi. Love go go shao shua 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 w, ai chu x. Xiom their weapons clashed. Ji Yufeng was knocked back by Night Sorrow's 7-star brilliant moon spear. After that, Night Sorrow continued to dash forward. He wanted to defeat Ji Yufeng as soon as possible because he was worried that Yunhuang might not be able to withstand his attacks. As a matter of fact, Yunhuang couldn't hold on any longer. Ji Yu's cultivation was 3 levels higher than his, and he was also a venerable. Yunhuang was directly suppressed by Ji Yu. Fortunately, Yunhuang's protective air shield was filled with lightning, which could break through the venerable space restraint. Otherwise, he would have been killed immediately. Moreover, the spirit wolf was constantly attacking Ji Yu, which bought him time to dodge. Night Sorrow kept attacking with his spear, suppressing Ji Yufeng and forcing him to retreat. Then, he observed Yun Huang and found that he could not hold on any longer. Feeling anxious, he directly activated his innate bloodline power and launched the space crack at Ji Yufeng. The energy of the space crack cut through the space and headed towards Ji Yufeng. Seeing that the situation was not good, Ji Yufeng immediately swung his sword to block the attack. Crack! Along with a crisp sound, Ji Yufeng's long sword was broken by the energy of the space crack. However, Ji Yufeng also got a chance to breathe. Although he was not directly hit by the space crack, a piece of flesh was cut off from his shoulder. After being injured by Night Sorrow, Ji Yufeng couldn't care less about his face and directly yelled, "Brother Hao, come help me. I can't hold on any longer." Muawai Axian 9, Section, Super. Seeing that Ji Yufeng was injured, Ji Yuhao's body flashed and landed beside Night Sorrow. He swung his long sword towards Night Sorrow. Fast. Too fast. Night Sorrow could only swing his spear to block the attack. However, he was still one step too late. The reincarnation spear blocked Ji Yuhao's long sword, but the sword light pierced through his ribs and left a wound on his ribs. Night Sorrow took a few steps back and stood in front of Yun Huang. He pointed the reincarnation spear to his side and stared at Ji Yuhao. Yi Shang was shocked. His myriad Tao scripture had been broken by Ji Yuhao. Ji Yuhao was also shocked that his time sword qi didn't cut Night Sorrow in half. Time property. Yun Huang took a step forward and stood beside Night Sorrow. That's right. You two have seen my time sword skill, so both of you have to die. Ji Yuhao glanced at Ji Yufeng and said. Time acceleration. Night Sorrow murmured. He now understood why Ji Yuhao was so fast just now. It was because of the time property. Also, Ji Yuhao was a Zun cultivator. His soul and Jin Qi had merged with the surroundings. Therefore, his speed was extremely fast. That's right. It's the time property. Your speed is no different from a snail in front of me. Ji Yuhao had a cold smile on his face. Yi Shang and Yun Huang were nothing but playthings in front of him with the power of time. You shameless bastard. You didn't even look at me just now. Yun Huang was angry because Ji Yuhao looked down on him. Don't worry. The time property is not invincible. It won't be that easy to kill me. Come on. Night Sorrow let out a breath. A faint purple void property protective shield appeared, and the power of desolates was running at full speed inside his body. Seeing Ji Yuhao's time sword skill, Night Sorrow became cautious. He knew that if it weren't for the fact that his body was strengthened by the power of desolates, which counteracted most of the power of the time sword qi, he would have been cut in half. What's the point? In terms of cultivation, I am a Zun cultivator, and you are an ant. In terms of property, I am the time property, and you are trash. What makes you think you can fight with me for a woman? You must die today. Ji Yuhao gnashed his teeth and said. Don't talk nonsense. We don't know who will win yet. Yun Huang, protect yourself. Yi Shang took a deep breath and rushed towards Ji Yuhao. Ji Yuhao waved his time sword skill and slashed towards Night Sorrow again. The time property sword qi was too fast. Fortunately, it slowed down a lot when it came within 10 feet of Night Sorrow. That was the area where Night Sorrow's void property Jin Qi could affect. Chapter 607. Geniuses remember love in 1 second. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Night Sorrow's spear light was fierce and violent, but it couldn't reach Ji Yuhao, because Ji Yuhao was way too fast. Similarly, Ji Yuhao's attack couldn't do anything to Night Sorrow either. When his sword qi reached near Night Sorrow's body, it returned to its normal speed. This was a stalemate. Night Sorrow couldn't hurt Ji Yuhao, but Ji Yuhao couldn't suppress Night Sorrow either. This was the power of the void power. No matter what kind of power you had, as long as you were in the area affected by the void power, all your power would be nullified. #fast. Go. Ji Yuhao was shocked. He didn't think that his time sword chi would lose its advantage when it reached Night Sorrow. In fact, he knew that what he had learned was not time acceleration, but time deceleration. As long as he was in the area affected by the void power, the flow of time would be slowed down. That was why his speed was so fast. Yi Shang could only hold on, but he couldn't change the situation. Since he couldn't kill Ji Yuhao, Yi Shang decided to kill Ji Yufeng first. As long as he could kill as many as he could. At the moment, Ji Yufeng and Yun Huang were still fighting. Ji Yufeng was one level higher than Yun Huang, but he didn't have any advantage at all. Yun Huang's defensive power shield was covered with lightning snakes. He ignored Ji Yufeng's unique space restriction and hacked his pair of machetes around Ji Yufeng, which made Ji Yufeng quite embarrassed. After dodging Ji Yuhao's sword chi, Night Sorrow shouted at Yun Huang and told him to step back. Next, he activated his bloodline power and sent a space crack towards Ji Yufeng. After that, he dashed forward and activated his nature and man being one with the world to suppress Ji Yufeng. Then, he performed the 7-star glorious moon spear art, aiming at Ji Yufeng. Yun Huang, of course, knew what Night Sorrow meant. He stepped back and changed his target. He threw out 2 blade lights that were wrapped in lightning towards Ji Yuhao while commanding his spirit wolf to stop Ji Yuhao. Ji Yufeng was already scared when he saw Night Sorrow cast the space crack. He tried to dodge, but was still affected by Night Sorrow's space restraint. Therefore, he couldn't completely dodge, and could only wield the broken sword to defend himself. Ji Yufeng was a cultivator, but he had just stepped into the stage. Therefore, he wasn't much stronger than Night Sorrow. How could he possibly defend himself against Night Sorrow's space-cracking attack? Another section of the broken sword was cut off, and the protective shield was cut open. Ji Yufeng's face changed dramatically, and he hurriedly leaned his body to dodge. His upper body managed to dodge the attack, but one of his legs was cut off by Night Sorrow's space crack. After severely injuring Ji Yufeng with one move, Night Sorrow was now very close to Ji Yufeng. The reincarnation spear darted towards Ji Yufeng's throat along with an unstoppable momentum. "You're courting death." Ji Yuhao's body flashed a few times in a row, dodging Yun Huang and the Hell Wolf's attacks. While approaching Night Sorrow, he also wielded his arm and sent out a stream of sword chi towards Night Sorrow. Sensing the sword chi slicing through the air, Night Sorrow pondered and made a decision. If he dodged, he would lose the chance to kill Ji Yufeng. If he didn't, he might be injured. Ji Yufeng's space and time sword chi was released with all of his power. Even if Night Sorrow defended himself with all of his power, it would still be hard for him to block it. The other option was to use the time and space tower to defend himself, but the tower would be exposed. Within a split second, Night Sorrow made up his mind. He would take the attack head-on. Night Sorrow boosted his defensive shield with the power of nothingness to the maximum, and covered his back with the power of desolation. Boom! With a single move, Night Sorrow shattered the remaining half of Ji Yufeng's short sword, sending Ji Yufeng flying backward while vomiting blood. However, Ji Yuhao's sword chi had also broken Night Sorrow's defensive shield, and once again sliced towards Night Sorrow's back. With the power of desolation, this sword chi didn't cause much damage to Night Sorrow's body. However, it still left a deep wound on Night Sorrow's back. "Take care of him for me." Night Sorrow turned around and yelled at Yun Huang. Meanwhile, he sent out a space crack towards Ji Yuhao. After the space crack was sent out, Night Sorrow immediately launched a soul-destroying cut. At the moment, Night Sorrow was fighting with all of his power. As long as he could hold his ground, he would be able to take advantage of Ji Yufeng. He knew that Ji Yufeng, who was badly injured, would not be able to stop Yunhuang. After Night Sorrow sent out the space crack, the space was cut open, and the energy of the space crack reached Ji Yuhao within a blink of an eye. Ji Yuhao's expression changed as he hurriedly stepped back. His timed deceleration didn't have much effect on Night Sorrow's space crack. While stepping back, Ji Yuhao sent out a few sword chi streams in a row to neutralize the space crack. Right after he neutralized Night Sorrow's space crack, Ji Yuhao suddenly dodged sideways, because he sensed the soul-destroying cut. Ji Yuhao's continuous stepping back gave Night Sorrow a chance to hold his ground. Night Sorrow controlled the power inside his body to seal the wound and stop the blood from flowing out. At the same time, Yunhuang also made some progress. With the help of the spirit wolf, Yunhuang took care of Ji Yufeng, who was badly injured, in just a short while. Yunhuang held Ji Yufeng's collar with his left hand, and put the machete against his neck with his right hand. He walked up to Night Sorrow and said, "This guy is here. What should we do?" Night Sorrow reached out his left hand and grabbed Ji Yufeng, bringing him to his front. "Let him go, or you'll both die." Ji Yuhao looked at Night Sorrow and Yunhuang with a dark face. "Forget about it. It's not the first time you said that. If bragging could kill people, we wouldn't be standing here." Yunhuang yelled back. Night Sorrow raised the reincarnation spear with his right hand and cut off Ji Yufeng's finger, which was wearing a storage ring. He then threw the ring to Yunhuang. "Stop!" Ji Yuhao yelled out. "Shut up!" Night Sorrow raised his head and threw a glare at Ji Yuhao, then grabbed Ji Yufeng and put him in front of himself. "You better let me go, or the Ji Yu family won't let you go." Ji Yufeng's face was pale as he looked at Night Sorrow with his teeth clenched. "I don't expect the Ji Yu family to let me go, and I'm not going to let the Ji Yu family go. When you burned down the town, did you think about today? When you cut off my father's arm, did you think about today?" After asking a few questions, Night Sorrow swung the reincarnation spear and cut off Ji Yufeng's neck. Next, he wielded the reincarnation spear and chopped off Ji Yufeng's head, body, and soul. "Are you really going to kill him?" Yunhuang paused for a second. He thought Night Sorrow would try to negotiate, but now, he directly chopped off Ji Yufeng's head. "Why not? We weren't scared when there were only two of them. Now that there's only one left, why should we be scared of him?" Night Sorrow glanced at Ji Yufeng's body, which was falling from the sky, then waved the reincarnation spear and looked at Ji Yuhao again. "You have to die." Ji Yuhao's face turned pale. Ji Yufeng was his cousin, but now, he died in front of him. "Yunhuang, protect yourself. Today, I'd like to see how he's going to kill me." Night Sorrow waved the reincarnation spear and said, "All right, it'll be hard for him to kill me." Yunhuang waved his arm and the ghost wolf appeared beside him. Chapter 608. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. This is a wonderful novel for you to read. Come on. Ji Yuhao, your cultivation is high, and your nature is strong. Let's see how you can kill me. When Night Sorrow checked his wounds, he found that there was a special kind of energy inside his body that was helping him heal. Night Sorrow knew that it was the power of the spirit medicine. Ji Yuhao roared and rushed towards Night Sorrow again. Night Sorrow activated his void nature defensive energy shield and started to fight with Ji Yuhao in the air. Ji Yuhao was fast, and most of Night Sorrow's attacks missed. However, he couldn't do anything to Night Sorrow. Seeing that he couldn't do anything to Ji Yuhao, Night Sorrow started to defend himself. This way, he wouldn't consume as much energy, but he would occasionally use the space crack and the soul slash. Night Sorrow's space crack and the soul slash still posed a great threat to Ji Yuhao, because the time nature didn't affect the space energy too much, and so did the soul slash. However, because of the time nature, Ji Yuhao could dodge in advance. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow's cultivation was not as high as Ji Yuhao's. Ji Yuhao could control a large area, so he could prepare in advance. Consume. I will consume you to death, Ji Yuhao said through gritted teeth. Come on. Night Sorrow didn't care about Ji Yuhao's threat at all. He wasn't afraid of a battle of attrition. The two fought in the air for half an hour, and Night Sorrow had consumed a lot of energy. Night Sorrow, come down. I'll fight with him. Seeing that Night Sorrow was exhausted, Yunhuang shouted. He was worried that Night Sorrow couldn't handle it. No need. Let's see who consumes who. Night Sorrow decisively switched his energy source, using the power of the Myriad Dao Bible and his own physical strength to fight with Ji Yuhao. However, because Night Sorrow's cultivation base was not as powerful as his Jin Qi, he was immediately suppressed by Ji Yuhao. However, Ji Yuhao was still unable to defeat Night Sorrow, because Night Sorrow would use his Jin Qi to fight, as well as the space crack and the soul destruction cut. However, in the middle of the transition, Night Sorrow's left rib was struck by a sword Qi. However, with the protection of the void attribute Qi, the injury wasn't serious. After fighting for a while, the two of them were almost exhausted. Let's see how long you can last, Ji Yuhao shouted with a twisted face. Take as long as you want. I still have some spirit spring spirit liquid and spiritual essence liquid. Night Sorrow took out a drop of spiritual essence liquid and swallowed it. Then, under Ji Yuhao's shocked gaze, Night Sorrow quickly returned to his peak condition. Night Sorrow, who had recovered to his peak state, started attacking Ji Yuhao. Next time I see you, I will kill you. Ji Yuhao dodged a few spear lights from Night Sorrow and flashed away. Remember, this is not the end between us. Yi Shang looked at Ji Yuhao's back and shouted. He didn't chase after him, because it was useless. Ji Yuhao's cultivation base was much faster than his and Tian Yu's, and he also had the power of time. It was impossible to catch up with him. Good dog. Don't run if you have balls, Yunhuang shouted. Night Sorrow looked at Ji Yuhao and didn't say anything. He knew that Ji Yuhao was a strong opponent. Night Sorrow, are you okay? Yunhuang came to Night Sorrow and asked. Just some superficial wounds, but we still won. Night Sorrow glanced at Ji Yufeng's body and said. Good for you. You can even take that. But this guy's time attribute is crazy. In fact, his time attribute is not time acceleration, but time deceleration. As long as our attacks get close to him, they will be slowed down by his time attribute. He can handle it with ease. Yunhuang was shocked. If he were in Ji Yuhao's shoes, he would never be able to withstand Ji Yuhao's attacks. He would be killed in a short while. Good, it's just some superficial wounds. Don't worry. Night Sorrow took off his torn robe and put on a clean one. What kind of body is this? Your wounds have already scabbed over. Noticing Night Sorrow's back and ribs, Yunhuang couldn't believe his own eyes. My body is strong, but it's just the surface. His sword Qi is still destroying my body. I need to take care of it. Next, I'll let Tianyu fly with the silver-winged eagle. Night Sorrow let Tianyu out and said. After that, Night Sorrow and Yunhuang continued their journey. Sitting cross-legged on Tianyu's back, Night Sorrow began to heal his wounds. Since the power of desolates came from the same source as the time attribute, Night Sorrow began to use the power of desolates to refine the energy left in Ji Yuhao's body. After flying for a day, Night Sorrow and Yunhuang set up camp. Night Sorrow roasted the deer that Tianyu had hunted. Are you okay? Yunhuang looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm fine, but I still need some time to fully recover. The time attribute sword Qi is really strong. If I can't suppress it, it will destroy my body. Night Sorrow said. Ji-Yu's family is really shameless. 2 venerables came to kill us. They really think highly of us. Yun Huang was angry because Ji Yuhao's actions were very embarrassing. Normally, venerables wouldn't do such things. Hee hee. I'm sorry for dragging you into this. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's nothing. How did you offend such a crazy dog? Yun Huang asked while helping Night Sorrow to roast the meat. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything. There was nothing to hide, so he told Yun Huang about the conflict with Ji Yu's family. Damn, they don't like it, but they're still so shameless. They can even kill ordinary people. I really can't describe them. Yun Huang said. The problem now is whether they can continue to mobilize more people to attack us. If they send more high-level venerables, we won't be able to hold them off. Night Sorrow expressed his concern. 5p only G first positive VD version 0% is plus ahi kz Allah is a thief %. Version this is indeed a big problem. You can say that it's a crisis for both of us. They have no bottom line. They can do anything. Yun Huang nodded. Today's situation was already very lucky. If they sent more venerables, they would be in big trouble. It's hard to say if they can chase us down or not. After all, it's not easy to chase 2 people in this vast wasteland. How about this, we can find a place and hide for 10 days to half a month. Even if they want to chase us down, they'll avoid us. Night Sorrow thought for a while and said. Alright, then we'll find a safe place to stay. You can also heal your wounds. Yun Huang nodded. After roasting the deer, the 2 of them began drinking and talking about what they had seen. There's something else. This is that guy's storage ring. Yun Huang threw Ji Yufeng's storage ring to Night Sorrow. This time, I dragged you into this mess. Take this as compensation. Yi Shang threw Ji Yufeng's storage ring to Yun Huang again. Don't say that. Since we're brothers who fought together, there's no need to be so polite. Take it. Yun Huang threw the storage ring to Night Sorrow again and said seriously. Chapter 609. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little. I will provide you with interesting novels to read. Ji Yufeng was quite rich. He had over 200 pieces of top-grade spirit stones and some other kinds of magic pills. Among them, there were 2 pieces of magic crystals with the nature of thunder. One was light purple, while the other was dark purple. Love go little say web, chew then, the 2 of them began to divide the crystals. Looking at the 2 thunder-attributed crystals, Yun Huang picked up the dark purple one and said, Dark thunder-attributed crystal, it matches my attribute. It's mine. You don't want this one. Night Sorrow looked at the other thunder-attributed crystal and asked. One for each of us. That one contains too much purple flame thunder energy. It's not suitable for me, said Yun Huang. Then I'll take it. My 9th sister is also my fiancée. She has the purple flame thunder attribute. Night Sorrow put away the purple flame thunder attributed crystal and said. Not bad, senior sister. You're good. Yun Huang gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Yi Shang only smiled. He knew that Yun Huang was a happy-go-lucky and outspoken person, but there was absolutely no problem with his character. After each of them drank a jar of wine, the 2 of them changed their direction and flew for 2 hours. They found a suitable place to camp. It's my first time hiding from someone. How frustrating. This is not over yet. After setting up a big tent with Night Sorrow, Yun Huang cursed. Then, the 2 of them talked for a while, then sat down to cultivate. Night Sorrow needed to heal himself and continue to absorb the sword chi of time that Ji Yuhao left in his body. Ji Yuhao returned to Dragontail City, then took the teleportation formation back to Tai Ching City, to his family's stronghold. In the stronghold, Ji Yuhao told Ji Yuanhang what happened today. You can't make any mistakes. Don't get involved in this. I'll go and take a look. If I see them, I'll definitely kill them. Said Ji Yuanhang with hatred, because Ji Yufeng was his big brother's youngest son. It'll be difficult to chase after them. After all, it's hard to find people in the vast wasteland. If Uncle wants to go, then bring some people and block them outside Dragontail City. They'll definitely come back, said Ji Yuhao. They didn't know that Yao Yang had also brought a few people to the Taiching domain and even to Dragontail City. It was too easy for Tianji Tower to investigate some things. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang would drink and chat when they had nothing to do. The rest of the time, they would cultivate. Night Sorrow had been healing himself the whole time. Ji Yuhao's sword power of time was very hard to deal with. It took him 3 days to fully absorb the sword power of time inside his body and return to his peak condition. The two of them stayed for half a month before they once again set off towards the night moon. I'm so angry just thinking about it. The Venerable showed off his power to us. He's really shameless. Yun Huang, who felt very wronged, cursed again. What are you angry about? Didn't he run away in the end? Think about it from another perspective. He's more wrong than us. 2 Venerables came, but we killed one and the other escaped. He'll probably fly into a rage when he gets back. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Killing Ji Yufeng to avenge Gu Gu's father made him very happy. It could be said that Night Sorrow solved a problem. That's true. If you think about it this way, we're the ones who took advantage of him. He should be angry and sad. It's worth celebrating. Come and get the wine. Yun Huang, who was sitting on the back of the silver-winged eagle, waved at Night Sorrow. In the beginning, Yun Huang drank his own wine, but after drinking Night Sorrow's wine, he didn't like his wine anymore. Night Sorrow took out a jar of green blood wine and threw it over. There are 2 sides to everything. It's easy to misunderstand if you only see one side. Besides, they're venerables, and they didn't do anything to us. When we enter the venerable realm, it'll be even harder for them to kill us. Love go little say W. Chu, however, that guy's attributes are indeed abnormal. If we can't restrain him, he can rely on his speed to stay in an invincible position. Yun Huang sighed and said. There's nothing that can't be solved. We can slowly think about it. Night Sorrow didn't think that the time attribute was scary. The power of desolates and the innate bloodline power were comparable to the time attribute. The void attribute even surpassed the time attribute and suppressed it. Okay, I don't think there's any danger on the way. However, we have to be careful on the way back to Dragontail City. They might block the road, Yun Huang said. Yi Shang nodded. He had thought about this before, but he planned to go to Yihuatian to take a look first. The 2 of them traveled during the day and rested at night to cultivate. They weren't very tired. Half a month later, the 2 of them arrived in the vicinity of Night Moon City. The battle had affected a wide area, causing the area to be very desolate. Some small cities had been severely damaged. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang entered a small city called Wuyo City. This small city was only 2,000 miles away from Night Moon City. After entering the desolate city, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang found a tea house. Why is it so desolate? Night Sorrow asked after ordering a pot of tea. Because the owner of this area hasn't returned. The owner of the tea house sighed and said. Night Sorrow lowered his head and took a deep breath. It's so desolate. If we don't rebuild it, everyone's living conditions will be lowered. Only and N is the original HF version, FS is the original, his QE is the pirated version, so what if it's lowered? Lowering living conditions in exchange for being able to fight when needed. It's worth it. The owner of the tea house glanced at Night Sorrow and left. There wasn't much business in the tea house because almost no cultivators came here. The people who lived here were all natives. They exchanged all their wealth for battle resources and waited for the Night Clan to return. Because even if they build it now, they can't withstand the robbery of other forces. Yun Huang said. Their faith hasn't changed. After so many years, their fighting spirit hasn't decreased. They're still waiting for battle. It's rare and precious. Night Sorrow's blood was boiling because these were the people of Night Moon Dynasty. Their obsession hadn't changed after so many years. After drinking tea, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang left the tea house and walked in the city. Desolate, with a sense of vicissitudes. There's no Wio at all. The damage left by the dynasties is too great. Yun Huang said. Maybe this really was Wio City back then. Night Sorrow said. Of course. This used to be Prince Wuyo's territory. It's the real Wio City. Although Prince Wuyo and young concubine are gone, we Night Moon people are still here. This is still Wio City. An old man with a walking stick heard Night Sorrow and Yun Huang's conversation and said. With faith and obsession, this will always be Wio City. Night Sorrow said with some emotion. Can you let me see the jade pendant on your waist? The old man was originally hunchbacked. When he saw the jade pendant on Night Sorrow's waist, he immediately straightened his back. His turbid eyes flashed. Yi Shang looked at the old man and met his gaze. He didn't know who this old man was. This was the former core of Night Moon Dynasty. Night Sorrow had to consider whether there were people from other dynasties here. Chapter 610. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow nodded and took off the jade pendant from his waist. He glanced at it and handed it to the old man. Blood thread jade. This is the real jade pendant of the royal family. I am Gu Jun. May I know if this jade pendant belongs to you, or? The old man said as he held the jade pendant with trembling hands. Let's find a place to talk. Night Sorrow knew that this old man should be an old man from the Night Moon Dynasty. His emotional fluctuations could not be faked. After that, the old man called Gu Jun brought Night Sorrow and Yun Huang to a small inn. The small inn didn't seem to have any signs of life, but looking at the antique carvings on the lintel and the 2 pillars, as well as the sandalwood chairs in the inn, Night Sorrow knew that this must have been a very elegant and high-class inn in the past. Can you tell me more about this jade pendant? Night Sorrow asked. You have to tell me where this jade pendant came from before I can decide how much to tell you. Gu Jun had been sizing up Night Sorrow. That's fine too. This is a jade pendant that I've always carried with me since I was a child. I don't know the specifics, but I can tell you in detail. Night Sorrow then told him about how he had been adopted in the eastern Xian region. According to this, do you think you are Night Moon's descendant? Gu Jun looked into Night Sorrow's eyes and asked. Yes, so please enlighten me. Love go little say Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Gu Jun. You might be the descendant of Night Moon. However, it's only a possibility. I don't know if you're telling the truth, so I can't tell you too much. Gu Jun shook his head and said. You're being a little unreasonable. My brother has said so much to you and this is your answer. Yun Huang said somewhat angrily. I'm sorry. It's true that this jade pendant is from Wio City. You have the jade pendant, but it's still lacking in other areas. Gu Jun said after pondering for a while. Ai, give me back my jade pendant. Night Sorrow was helpless. This old man called Gujun obviously knew a lot of things, but he didn't say anything. This is the jade pendant of Prince Wuyo from Wuyo City. Please cherish it. Gujun hesitated for a moment before handing the jade pendant to Night Sorrow. Yes or no, I don't need to prove anything. I just need to do what I should do. Night Sorrow didn't want to force this stubborn old man, so he shook his head and left the inn. The Night Moon Empire is already in such a state. Who needs to pretend? Interesting. Yunhuang glanced at Gujun before following Night Sorrow out of the inn. Unless you have the bloodline talent of the Night Moon Empire, no one will know anything from the Night Moon people. Gujun said as he looked at Yishan's back. That's right, Gujun said as he looked at Yishan's back. Night Sorrow thought for a while and felt that this old man called Gujun was definitely not a problem. He turned around and unleashed his bloodline talent, causing a spatial rend to appear on the empty street. After the spatial rend was unleashed, a black spatial rend appeared in front of Night Sorrow and extended far away. Spatial rend. This is the spatial rend that only the direct descendants of the Night Moon Empire can unleash. Greetings, young master. The old man, who was Gujun, trembled and his eyes were filled with astonishment. In the end, tears appeared in his eyes as he knelt on one knee and greeted Night Sorrow. You're thinking too much. I'm not a young master. I just want to know how much you can tell me if this jade pendant belongs to me. Night Sorrow helped Gujun up from behind. Young master, please come in. Gujun bowed and led Night Sorrow and Yunhuang into the inn. Can you tell me now? Night Sorrow looked at Gujun and asked. Other than your family name, there are 7 cloud patterns at the bottom of your jade pendant. This is a jade pendant that only the direct descendants of the Night Moon Empire can possess. It is also the highest grade jade pendant. Behind it is the family totem and below it is the pattern of Wuyo. The 5 lines in the pattern are obviously thicker. This proves that young master is the 5th generation, the 5th direct descendant of the Night Moon Empire of Wuyo City. Gujun said. How many 5th generation descendants are there in Wuyo City? Night Sorrow asked as he touched the jade pendant. There's only one person. This means that the owner of this jade pendant is young master. Gujun said. There are so few direct descendants in the Night Moon Empire. Yunhuang asked in astonishment. No, the other branches have many descendants. However, Wuyo only has one descendant. I'm not sure about the previous generations, but the undefeated King Prince Linghuan's generation had only one descendant. Prince Wuyo's generation has only one descendant. Young Master's generation also has only one descendant. Gujun explained slowly. With Gujun's explanation, Night Sorrow had a better understanding of the hierarchy in the Night Moon Empire. If the 2nd generation entered the honorable realm or made outstanding contributions to the empire, they would be conferred the title of emperor. If the 3rd generation entered the honorable realm or made outstanding contributions, they would be conferred the title of prince. If the 4th generation reached a certain level, they would be conferred the title of prince. Their wives would be addressed differently too. They would be addressed as imperial concubine, princess concubine, young concubine. As for the rest, no matter how high their seniority was, as long as they were not at that level, they would be addressed as young master. Their wives would be addressed as madam. Back then, the city lord of Wuyo City, Yi Wuyo, was conferred the title of Prince Wuyo. He married the daughter of the city lord of Beiyu City. After their child was born, they went to Beiyu City to visit their relatives. When the war broke out, Gujun was one of Yi Wuyo's followers. Hence, he was very clear about it. At the critical moment, Yi Wuyo used the spatial rend to send his 2 guards and young master away from the battlefield. After that, he and his wife engaged in a bloody battle with the enemy. However, as they were outnumbered, they could only retreat with his wife and a portion of his followers. E at most D, new chapter, section L above U, J/. When Yi Wuyo and his wife retreated to the Night Moon Empire, the war broke out. After that, Gu Jun never saw Yi Wuyo and his wife again until today. Then I don't understand. Young master could be Night Sorrow. If he was sent away by Prince Wuyo using the spatial rend, how could his guards be killed? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and asked. This is not hard to understand. After tearing the spatial rend, Prince Wuyo did not enter. Instead, he used the spatial rend to send the three of them away. Under such circumstances, it could only be a short-distance teleportation. This would require the guards to have the spatial rend crystal with them. If they could open the spatial rend again, the enemy could still chase after them. Gu Jun said. The space-breaking crystal was a kind of magic treasure unique to the Night Moon dynasty. It was made by a high-level cultivator of the Night Moon clan by injecting the power of space into it. Night Sorrow took out a map and looked at it. After looking at it, Night Sorrow closed his eyes and stabilized his emotions. Beiyu City was in the northwest corner of the Taiqing domain. It was not far from the southern Sky City in the southeast corner of the eastern Xian domain. That means Prince Wuyo and young concubine did not die in the battle. After a while, Night Sorrow looked at Gu Jun with a hopeful gaze and asked. This old servant does not dare to say. As servants, we know too little about that battle. After all, those who can enter the Night Moon Empire are all titled. There are only a limited number of people who do not have titles. Servants do not have the opportunity to know. Gu Jun said. At this moment, Night Sorrow could almost confirm his identity. After receiving this information, Night Sorrow bowed to Gu Jun, young master, please don't. This old servant used to be the manager of the city lord's mansion. How would I dare to accept such a bow from young master? Gu Jun saw Night Sorrow bowing to him and quickly bowed back. Night Sorrow, Prince Wuyo and young concubine should be fine. They might have left along with their family strategy. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and said. He was worried that Night Sorrow would take things too hard. Chapter 6:11. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with interesting novels to read. I believe they will be fine. Uncle Gu Jun, I will go to the Night Moon Sky later to take a look. Night Sorrow said. Young master, please don't call me that. The Night Moon Sky is very dangerous. I don't know for the past few years, but the people from the other empires have been monitoring that place to see if there are any core members of the Night Moon Empire. It's better if young master doesn't go. Gu Jun said. No. I must go. Night Sorrow shook his head and said. This old servant will make a trip first. Young master, please stay in this inn first, said Gu Jun, that's not appropriate. Night Sorrow wouldn't let Gu Jun take the risk. It's okay. I will go to the Night Moon City to pay my respects every year. Although I haven't entered the Night Moon Sky, I can still find out the general situation. Gu Jun said. Night Sorrow, let's do as Uncle Gu Jun says. This is more appropriate. After all, we have just caused trouble. Yun Huang said. Young master, please follow me. Gu Jun brought Night Sorrow and Yun Huang to the inn and arranged a room for them before leaving. Night Sorrow, I thought that you were the descendant of the Night Moon Empire. However, I didn't expect you to be the most direct descendant. After hearing Gu Jun's words, Yun Huang was greatly shocked. Actually, this isn't important. Whether I am the direct descendant or not, I will fight. As long as I am alive, the enemies of the Night Moon Empire will have to pay the price. Night Sorrow said. Brother, the Yun family empire and the Night Moon Empire are allies. Don't bear grudges. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and quickly explained. I know. I even met the king of the Yun family empire a while ago. Night Sorrow said. You've seen our family's old man. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow in surprise. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com Yun Tianlong is your grandfather. Then your seniority must be very high. Yi Shang looked at Yun Huang and sized him up. My grandfather was the youngest son of the old master. However, due to a congenital deficiency, he was unable to cultivate. Due to his short lifespan, he passed away a long time ago. Thus, the old master valued my father a lot. As for me, I am my father's youngest son. You know what I mean, Yun Huang said with a smile. After the two of them drank their tea, they strolled around the worry-free city casually. See, original UU chapter on DD, Wuyo City was desolate, barren, and devoid of people, but looking at the buildings, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang knew that it must have been very prosperous in the past because the buildings in the city were very stylish. When the two of them arrived at the city lord's mansion, they found that there was no one inside, but it was very clean. Night Sorrow could be sure that there were people cleaning this place every day. There's no need to look around. As long as there are people here, there won't be any problems when this place becomes prosperous again in the future. Yun Huang said. He knew what Gu Jun said today. The situation in Wuyo City still had a huge impact on Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow nodded. The two of them did not continue to stroll around. After that, they returned to the inn to meditate and rest. Night Sorrow was now cultivating in several aspects at the same time. Since his true chi had reached the 9th grade void inquiry stage, he could not cultivate at full speed. He could only cultivate while accumulating his chi. After waiting for 5 days, Gu Jun finally returned. At this moment, Night Sorrow was actually very anxious. When he saw Gu Jun, Night Sorrow asked him about the situation. Gu Jun came back late. Firstly, it was because the journey was still a little far. Secondly, he was very meticulous in his observation. Hence, it was a waste of time. The information that Gu Jun brought back was that the night moon was very quiet. There was nothing unusual. However, there were still people who frequently went to the Night Moon City to pay their respects. After receiving the news that it was safe, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang left the inn and headed towards the Night Moon City. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang only used half a day to travel a distance of less than 3,000 li *, 500 m per li. The Night Moon City occupied an area of several thousand li *, 500 m per li. However, it was already in a dilapidated state. However, from the majestic city walls and city gates, one could see how powerful the Night Moon dynasty was in the past. Night Sorrow felt that the overall scale of the Night Moon City was not much different from Taiching City. Night Sorrow, let's calm down a little. The people of the Night Moon dynasty just retreated. It's not like they were annihilated. They will definitely fight back. Yun Huang said. I know. I'm very calm. Actually, I came here this time mainly because I want to see the place where my family used to live and find out about them. As for the defeat, it's just in the past. It's nothing. If we lost in the past, we'll just have to win in the future. Night Sorrow's face was very calm. This was the state of mind. As his state of mind improved, Night Sorrow could face some things calmly. In other words, there were very few things that could affect Night Sorrow. The Night Moon City did not have any defenses. It could even be said that there were no guards. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang directly walked in. Currently, the Night Moon City was in a special situation. There were no supreme experts. Even if the Night Moon dynasty still had supreme experts, they would not easily appear. As for the threat of demonic beasts attacking the city, there was no such thing. During the peak of the Night Moon dynasty, all the high-level demonic beasts within tens of thousands of miles had been cleared. If low-level demonic beasts attacked the city, the cultivators in the city could resist them. As for the high-level cultivators of the other dynasties, they would not come here. This was because the wealth here was either taken away by the people of the Night Moon dynasty or plundered. The high-level cultivators came here to monitor the situation of the Night Moon dynasty. This was also something that happened more than 10 years ago. In these few decades, the Night Moon dynasty did not make any moves. The other dynasties also did not pay attention to it. That would be a waste of energy. Walking in the Night Moon city, Night Sorrow looked around. He knew that there were traces of his parents here. Yunhuang did not speak along the way. He kept looking around vigilantly. He knew that Night Sorrow looked calm, but his mind was not focused. His thoughts were chaotic, so he had to rely on him for safety. The Night Moon city was very big. Night Sorrow did not look for a beast carriage. The two of them walked slowly on the streets. Yunhuang, who understood Night Sorrow's situation, quietly followed behind Night Sorrow. After walking for 4 hours, Night Sorrow smiled embarrassedly at Yunhuang. Then, he called for a beast carriage and rushed towards the Night Moon dynasty. Noticing Night Sorrow's smile, Yunhuang felt more at ease. This was because he knew that Night Sorrow's state of mind had returned to normal. He had walked out of his contemplation and reminiscence. In the afternoon, the two of them arrived at the Night Moon city. Night Moon dynasty. When Night Sorrow paid the fee, the beast carriage driver took half of the fee. Since you are here, please do not blaspheme the Night Moon dynasty. Looking at the back of the carriage driver, Night Sorrow felt a sour feeling in his heart. A carriage driver, an ordinary carriage driver, was also contributing silently to the Night Moon dynasty. Not for anything else, but to prevent the Night Moon dynasty from being blasphemed. Such a dynasty will definitely rise again. This is because glory and faith are already in their blood, in their bones. Yunhuang was also touched. Chapter 6:12. A genius remembers love in 1 second. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. The central area of the Night Moon city was the Night Moon Lake. The area of the Night Moon Lake was very large, spanning hundreds of miles. At the center was an island with a radius of hundreds of miles. That was the core area of the Night Moon Empire, the Night Moon Sky. At this time, the Night Moon Sky was full of broken beams and tiles. It was not that the people of the Night Moon did not want to repair it, but even if they repaired it, it would still be destroyed. In order to not be trampled on, the people of the Night Moon decided not to repair and build. Following an ancient stone bridge, Night Sorrow and Yunhuang walked towards the island. Night Sorrow reached out and touched the gap in the railing of the stone bridge. He flicked his finger twice. That was the gap caused by the sputtering of energy during the battle. That was the mark of a battle. Closing his eyes to calm his emotions, Night Sorrow and Yunhuang walked along the stone bridge towards the Night Moon. The two of them walked like ordinary people. Half an hour later, they arrived at the Night Moon. After looking around at the dilapidated scene, the two of them walked towards the center of the Night Moon. The wind from the lake blew against Yishang's robes, causing them to flutter. Yishang would occasionally look at the rubble that had been cleared out of the building. There were all sorts of energy slashes on it. An hour later, Night Sorrow arrived at a plaza. Behind the plaza was a destroyed palace. The square had been cleared out. In the middle of the square was a huge inscription with the words, Night Moon's heroic spirit, written on it. In front of it was a large cauldron with incense still burning in it. Everything told of the tragedy and injustice of that year. Night Sorrow reached out and touched the inscription. Then, he realized that the dark purple words on it were not dye at all, but blood. Yunhuang lit 2 incense sticks that were prepared by someone beside the cauldron and placed them on the platform in front of the cauldron. Then, he took out a few incense sticks and handed them to Night Sorrow. With a flick of his finger, Night Sorrow ignited the incense with his alchemic fire and inserted it into the cauldron. Night Sorrow, let's kowtow a few times. Yunhuang said. No. I don't have the qualifications to kneel and kowtow in front of them now, but in the future. In the future, I will formally greet them. Night Sorrow waved his hand and quietly stood in front of the cauldron, looking at the inscription. After standing for a while, Night Sorrow brought Yunhuang to the damaged palace. There was a rectangular groove on the lintel of the main hall. Not far away, there was a cracked stone plaque with 4 words on it, Never Setting Night Moon. A crack appeared on the stone plaque, and the 4 words on it were chopped off, leaving behind an energy ravine. Night Sorrow squatted down and wiped the dust off the horizontal board as if he was wiping a treasure. Ai go shao shua 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 w, ai chuex. After glancing at Night Sorrow, Yunhuang went to the side and found a large rock. Then, he waved his scimitar and cut the rock. Then, he started digging on top of it and made a groove according to the size of the stone plaque. Nodding at Yunhuang, Yishang moved the broken stone plaque into the card slot and embedded it properly. This way, the stone plaque would be protected. Thank you, brother. One day, I will hang this plaque here again. Whoever stops me, I will kill them. Night Sorrow's aura exploded, and his battle intent rippled in all directions. Good. If there's a battle, remember to count me in. Yunhuang patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and said. I thought you would persuade me. Night Sorrow nodded at Yunhuang and kept the plaque in his storage ring. Why should I persuade you? I believe you can do it. It's just that it might be a little difficult. Yunhuang smiled at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow and Yunhuang did not leave. The 2 of them walked around the island and came to the back of the night moon. Behind the night moon was a spatial hole filled with chaotic energy. The 2 of them could see the churning black seawater in the hole. Translator, Nyoibo Studio Editor, Nyoibo Studio. This was the place where the Night Moon Dynasty came from. It was also the origin of the Night Moon Dynasty, the Night Moon Sea. This is the forbidden area of the Night Moon tribe. Without the spatial rend skill, you can't break through the chaotic spatial energy. Without the spatial energy protection, you can't survive. Yunhuang said. After a while, Night Sorrow and Yunhuang returned to the front of the monument. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and passed it to Yunhuang. He took out another jar of wine for himself and poured half of it in front of the monument. Then, he drank the rest in one gulp. Yunhuang did the same as Night Sorrow. Ancestors of the Night Moon clan, you can rest in peace. Leave the battle to Night Sorrow. As long as I don't fall, Night Sorrow will definitely regain the glory that belongs to the Night Moon Dynasty. Night Sorrow shouted. You're back. That's enough. Yunhuang nodded. Shameless boasting. A remnant dares to speak. A black-clothed man appeared in front of Night Sorrow and Yunhuang. This guy is a level 3 honorable. Yunhuang said to Night Sorrow. He had a special detection technique that could detect the cultivation of an opponent who was less than 5 ranks higher than him. Don't worry. You should at least tell me where you're from. Night Sorrow shook his waist and the reincarnation spear appeared in his hand. He stared at the black-clothed man. Tianfeng Dynasty, Chen Haoren. A long sword appeared in the black-clothed man's hand. Your Tianfeng Dynasty is still monitoring this place. Looks like you don't plan to let this go. Night Sorrow said. You're unlucky. Because today is the Night Moon Night, the remnant of the Night Moon tribe came to pay respects to their ancestors. I came to see if there were any true remnants of the Night Moon tribe. I didn't expect to see you here. Destroy your cultivation and I'll spare your life. Chen Haoren looked at Night Sorrow and said. It was already dark. There were many people outside the square. They were all citizens of the Night Moon King city who came to pay respects to their ancestors. All right. I don't know if I'm the unlucky one or you are the unlucky one. The Night Moon tribe only has the souls of those who died in battle. There are no survivors. Night Sorrow stomped his feet and waved his reincarnation spear towards Chen Haoren. Chen Haoren waved his long sword in the air and the sword chi slashed towards Night Sorrow. While Night Sorrow dodged the sword chi, he started to fight with Chen Haoren. At this moment, the people of the Night Moon tribe who came to pay respects also took out their weapons and were ready to fight. Don't move. You'll only cause trouble for Night Sorrow. Yunhuang blocked the group of people of the Night Moon tribe who were full of fighting spirit. An old man looked at the battle in the air and repeated Night Sorrow's words with trembling lips. The Night Moon tribe only has the souls of those who died in battle. There are no survivors. Prince Linghuan said the same thing back then. The battle in the air was very intense. Chen Haoren was very fast and relied on the sword chi to suppress Night Sorrow. If Night Sorrow wanted to fight in close range, he wouldn't give him a chance. It was like a cat chasing a mouse. Dog-like person and dog-like tactics. A level 3 honorable still wants to fight in a guerrilla battle. Yunhuang scolded. You'll all die in a while. Chen Haoren laughed. He wanted to see the helpless expressions of this group of people. Then you'll die first. After Night Sorrow released the spear light, he released the space rend, followed by the soul destruction slash. Night Sorrow knew that Chen Haoren was very fast. If he didn't hit him, it would be troublesome if he attacked again. Therefore, he didn't want to give him a chance to breathe and used his ultimate move to kill him. Under the moonlight, the black space rend was very obvious. Chen Haoren's expression changed and he dodged to the side. Chapter 6:13. Genius 1 second. Remember love/go/little. We provide you with interesting novels to read. When Chen Haoren's eyes were filled with fear and he had no strength to resist, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear slashed across Chen Haoren's neck. He used his left hand to punch Chen Haoren's chest and sent him flying. Chen Haoren's body flew backward. Night Sorrow chased after him and waved his reincarnation spear, chopping off Chen Haoren's arms. Then, he grabbed Chen Haoren's long sword with his left hand and threw it with all his might. The long sword pierced through Chen Haoren's head and flew backward, nailing him to the tip of the tombstone. Today, I will use your blood to pay tribute to my Yi clan's martyrs. Slowly, I will bring the heads of your Tianfeng dynasty's leaders here. I, Night Sorrow, am coming for the Night Moon dynasty. The battle begins today. As long as you live, the battle will not stop. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear, which was still stained with blood, and roared. Your surname is Yi. Who are you? The old man who wanted to fight pointed at Night Sorrow with a trembling finger and asked. There will probably be more people coming. I don't have time to talk to you. You should leave too. Don't make unnecessary sacrifices. Yunhuang took Chen Haoren's storage ring and pulled Night Sorrow to the outskirts of the Night Moon dynasty. He was worried that there would be people monitoring this place. I will be back. Night Sorrow turned his head to look at the bloodstained tombstone and said. Love/go/little say web/w ai chux. So after Night Sorrow and Yunhuang flew for a while, they released their mounts. Night Sorrow, you have to be careful now. Not to mention whether there are other venerables here, there must be spies from other dynasties. This matter might blow up. Yunhuang said worriedly. That can't be helped. Since we've been discovered, we must fight. Night Sorrow didn't want to be exposed so early, but the development of the situation was beyond his expectations. Ninth uncle, that young man used spatial rend. That's spatial rend. Another old man stepped forward and said to the first old man. Night Moon's direct descendant, that's Night Moon's direct descendant. Yi Ching Feng, bring people to clean up this place. Clean up as many spies as you can. It's best if the news doesn't spread. The old man shouted to the second old man. It's too late. Just now, there were already quite a number of black shadows leaving. The second old man, Yi Ching Feng, sighed. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang returned to Wuyo City and went to Gu Jun's inn. Young lord. Are you injured? Gu Jun asked as he looked at the blood-stained Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow shook his head and took a clean robe to take a bath. Original T original 0L JT Yun Huang recounted what had happened during their trip. Young lord killed a level 3 martial honor opponent. That's incredible. Gu Jun said excitedly after hearing Yun Huang's story. After a while, Night Sorrow returned with a clean robe. Yun Huang, you know that I went to take a bath. Can't you make a pot of tea? Night Sorrow, you really have the style of a young master. But because of your prowess today, I have to make this tea. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow with disdain and started to make the tea. Yi Shang. Young master's name should be Yi Xiaoxiao, Gu Jun said to Yi Shang after hearing how Yun Huang addressed him. Night Sorrow. I'm drunk on this name. But it's also very elegant. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and turned around. He couldn't help but laugh. Back then, young concubine gave young lord the name Xiao, hoping that young lord could live with a smile. Prince Wuyu felt that laughter was very important to a person's mentality, so he added the word Xiao. Hence, the name Night Sorrow came about. Gu Jun explained the origin of the name Night Sorrow. I might not be Night Sorrow. Even if I was, that was in the past. My current name was given to me by Father Gu, who raised me. It's to pay tribute to the 2 guards who died protecting me. Night Sorrow said. Everything matches. There's no mistake about it. As for the name, we'll talk about it when we meet Prince and young concubine. Gu Jun said. How about this, we won't leave for the time being. Uncle Gu Jun, you can go to Night Moon City and take a look at the situation. I don't want the citizens of Night Moon City to have to bear the consequences of my actions. Yi Shang was worried that the death of the supremacy would enrage those people and cause them to do something outrageous. Gu Jun nodded his head and left. He was also worried that something would happen in Night Moon City. We have to hurry up and cultivate. Some martial honors are really shameless. They really did something to us. Yun Huang said. In the past, there were almost no cases of martial honors attacking ordinary cultivators. When Gu Jun arrived at Night Moon City, he realized that the situation was different from what he expected. Night Moon City was still very quiet. However, there was a sense of killing in the silence. The killing aura came from the guards of Night Moon City. They were patrolling the streets. Although their cultivation wasn't high, their fighting spirit was high. On the tombstone of Night Moon City, Chen Haoran's corpse was still hanging. There were people watching from the side. After asking around, someone said that the corpse would be exposed for 7 days to punish him for his blasphemy towards the ancestors of Night Moon Dynasty. After hearing Gu Jun's report and knowing that Night Moon City was peaceful, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang stayed. They didn't leave because they were worried. They were worried that if the news spread out, it would cause a huge commotion. They were worried that the consequences would be borne by the citizens of Night Moon City. Night Sorrow felt that if there was a battle, he would bear the consequences. Of course, Yun Huang would accompany him. In fact, Just as Night Sorrow and Yunhuang predicted, Chen Haoran's death and the appearance of the descendants of Night Moon Dynasty caused a huge commotion in the Taiqing region. The Tianfeng Dynasty, Golden Dragon King Dynasty, Qingming Dynasty, Red Leaf Dynasty, and Seven Star Dynasty were all ready to make a move. However, at this time, the Yun Dynasty's king, Yun Tianlong, sent out a king's order. If any faction dared to attack the citizens of Night Moon City, or if any martial honor dared to enter Night Moon City, the core members of that faction would be killed by him. If the appearance of the descendants of Night Moon Dynasty caused a huge commotion, then Yun Tianlong's king's order caused a huge commotion. Yun Tianlong was the vice city lord of Taiqing City. When City Lord Yi Tian wasn't around, he was the person with the highest authority. This was a righteous order, and it was also due to the deterrence of an invincible martial honor. Yun Tianlong was an invincible martial honor. If anyone provoked him, he would kill that person. Who could stop him? The 5 dynasties wouldn't make a move for the citizens of Night Moon City who weren't led by a martial honor. Lin Yuandao, who received the news, accidentally crushed the teacup in his hand. This brat killed a 3rd-level martial honor and caused such a huge commotion. It's going to turn the sky upside down. He killed a 3rd-level martial honor before entering the martial honor realm. That's cruel enough, but he also threw himself into the limelight. Le Trin Xuan said. It's not a big deal, but it's not a big deal either. The dynasties probably won't directly send people to attack Night Moon City. As long as he stops for a while, it won't be a big problem. Once he enters the martial honor realm, ordinary martial honor realm experts won't be a match for him. His safety shouldn't be a problem. Lin Yuandao said after thinking for a while. The war against the Tianfeng dynasty can't wait any longer. It must be carried out as soon as possible. Le Trin Xuan said. Chapter 6:14. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. We provide you with exciting novels to read. Yi Shang and Yun Huang were very comfortable in Carefree City. When they had nothing to do, they would take a stroll around Carefree City. The rest of the time, they would cultivate in the inn. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs. Xiaom Gu Jun often left. He wanted to know the news outside. Night Moon Dynasty had been defeated, but there were many people and they were still well informed. Half a month later, Gu Jun told Night Sorrow and Yunhuang the news he had heard. My old man is really domineering. Yunhuang said excitedly. Will this bring trouble to your Yun Dynasty? Night Sorrow said worriedly. Bullshit. They're awesome. Why don't they try provoking my Yun Dynasty? My old man is an invincible venerable. He can't crush them. Attack our Yun Dynasty. We have invincible venerables and many peak venerables. They wouldn't dare. Besides, they won't go to war. Yun Huang said with a smile. Love go little say W. Chu, you bastard, how do you know that they won't dare to go to war? Yun Tianlong, who was dressed in a black robe and had golden hair, appeared in the inn. Old master, you're here. Yun Huang rubbed his hair and bowed to Yun Tianlong. Night Sorrow also stood up and cupped his hands to Yun Tianlong. Not bad to be able to kill a venerable before entering the venerable realm. However, you're really bold. Yun Tianlong sat down and said. Old man, did you do something to my body? Yun Huang checked his body and asked Yun Tianlong. Nonsense. If I didn't leave a mark and you went missing, where would this king find you? Yun Tianlong glared at Yun Huang. Yun Huang rubbed his messy golden hair and didn't say anything. It's fine as long as the two of you are fine. Yun Tianlong took the tea that Yun Huang poured and glanced at Night Sorrow and Yun Huang again. Thank you, Your Majesty, for your help. Night Sorrow cupped his hands and said, "Don't worry about it. I don't think the two of you are willing to leave with me. You can just stay here. If an expert appears, Yun Huang, take out your identity token. If they dare attack you after seeing your identity token, crush this." Yun Tianlong took out a milky white stone and tossed it to Yun Huang. "What is this?" Yun Huang asked as he held the milky white object. "Soul cultivating stone. Inside is a soul clone." Night Sorrow whispered to Yun Huang. "You know quite a bit. However, it's not a soul clone. It's just a strand of soul power. It'll be enough to resolve a crisis. At the same time, this king will also know the specifics of what happened back then. As long as he knows who it was, would he still dare to make a move?" Yun Tianlong said. Then, Yun Tianlong left. He wasn't a sloppy person. Although he was worried about the safety of his juniors, he still gave them enough space to explore. "It's nothing big. We'll just stay here for a while," Yun Huang said. Night Sorrow nodded. He also wanted to stay here for a while and experience Wuyo City. "Then the two of us will slowly cultivate. If we go out now and run into those shameless people, we'll still be unlucky." Yun Huang opened his mouth and said. "I'm sorry," Yun Huang said. "Once our cultivation increases, we'll go to their territory and kill them. We'll burn down their strongholds one by one." Night Sorrow clenched his fists and said, "That's a good idea. I like it." Yun Huang clapped. Gu Jun wanted to say something, but he didn't say anything. He was worried about Night Sorrow's safety. However, Night Moon Dynasty had a hierarchy. There were some things that he couldn't interfere with. Night Sorrow didn't care about the outside world. He and Yun Huang cultivated in Wuyo City. When Lin Yuandao arrived at Eastern Xian region, he told Wu Lingfei everything. "This guy is really restless. Then let's declare war on Tianfeng Dynasty. Eastern Xian region City Lord Manor and Celestial Peaks Imperial Palace can both send some people," Wu Lingfei said. "Then I'll go inform the other regions. Then we'll meet at Celestial Peak Pavilion." Lin Yuandao stood up and said. After Lin Yuandao left, Wu Lingfei went to the training ground where the god-slaying team was. Seeing Wu Lingfei arrive, the god-slaying team members stopped cultivating. "Your mission was given by your captain. Night Sorrow isn't here, so I'll tell you about the situation. Tianji Tower and Eastern Xian region are going to declare war on Taiqing region's Tianfeng Dynasty. Whether you want to fight or not is up to you," Wu Lingfei said. Wu Lingfei could give the order directly, but she didn't want to break the tradition of the god-slaying team. Besides, the god-slaying team wouldn't have much effect if they didn't fight. "City Lord, where is our captain now?" Ho Jian asked. "He's also in Taiqing region, but he might have run into some trouble," Wu Lingfei said. "I propose to fight. Xueling, Linglong, Liyue, what do you all think?" Ho Jian turned and asked the members in front of the god-slaying team. "Captain isn't here. You and Xueling can make the decision." "I can only obey," Linglong said. "Fight. This is the best time to make Eastern Xian region famous," Xueling said. Then the members of the god-slaying team all agreed. "Then get ready. We'll set off with the City Lord Manor and Tianji Tower later." Wu Lingfei left after giving the order. She still had to go to the City Lord Manor and Tianji Tower to mobilize people. However, the City Lord Manor had limited manpower. Only the Bloodstrike guards could be freed up. After all, some of the higher-ups had gone to Taiyue region. Ruling Taiyue region required a lot of manpower. Then the people of Eastern Xian region set off. They took the normal teleportation array. Wu Lingfei took everyone to the strategic teleportation array because there was no teleportation array available. This time, the Extreme Heaven Tower's actions were very big. It could be said that all the 9 regions knew about it. They all knew that the Tianfeng dynasty was going to suffer this time. After all, if the Extreme Heaven Tower wanted to attack any force, no force would be able to stop it. Putting everything else aside, the Eastern Xian region and the North Sea region were now Tianji Tower's most reliable partners. What kind of strength was this? The Tianfeng dynasty could only be bullied. Z only \square root of version b%, see others / all 0 unspecified currency is * steel, version *001 spoke up for the Tianfeng dynasty. The main reason was that the Tianfeng dynasty was constantly challenging Tianji Tower's bottom line. In addition, the war between Eastern Xian region and Qingtian region had nothing to do with the Tianfeng dynasty. However, the Tianfeng dynasty insisted on interfering. The Tianfeng dynasty was gloomy. They used Tianji Tower to establish their prestige in order to establish their position as the #1 dynasty in Taiqing region. They thought that Tianji Tower's principle was to not fight for power and that everything would be fine as long as they controlled themselves. However, they forgot one thing. There were some things that Tianji Tower wouldn't do, but if they had to silently admit that they were being slapped in the face, then they wouldn't be Tianji Tower. The Tianfeng dynasty quickly joined forces with other dynasties. The Golden Dragon King dynasty, Qingming dynasty, Red Leaf dynasty, and Seven Star dynasty all expressed that they wouldn't participate in this matter because they knew that the angry Tianji Tower was not to be trifled with. Even if they attacked together, it wouldn't be useful. Besides, they all thought that they had nothing to do with it. Chapter 6:15. Genius 1 second. Remember love, Go Pshao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Not to mention the Tianfeng dynasty, the current Heaven's Terminus Tower had the power to crush even the other great dynasties combined. The forces of the 9 regions tower, in addition to the strength of the headquarters and the first base, had already dominated a region. The forces of Tianji Tower directly pushed forward, and the giants were watching from behind. This time, Tianji Tower planned to directly cripple the Tianfeng dynasty, because the Tianfeng dynasty had crossed the bottom line of Tianji Tower. When Tianji Tower advanced 200,000 miles, a man in a silver robe appeared and directly blocked the advance of Tianji Tower's forces. Several venerables were repelled, including the invincible venerable of the North Sea domain, Bei Tianga. Wu Lingfei, Lin Yuandao, Guishao, and Lutrin Swan, who received the news, all rushed to the city called Wing-Spreading City. Saint, are you going to participate in the war? Wu Lingfei's golden phoenix soft armor protected her body as she directly rose into the air and stood opposite the silver-robed man. Saints shouldn't participate in such a war, but if I don't show up, the Tianfeng dynasty will be destroyed by Tianji Tower. What's the point of me following the rules? The silver-robed man said. In other words, only the Tianfeng dynasty can attack others. If others attack you, you don't have to follow the rules because you're afraid of being destroyed. The polar moon will appear on Wu Lingfei's body. If she didn't deal with this saint, Tianji Tower's attack would be blocked. Therefore, even if her cultivation was inferior to the other party, Wu Lingfei still had to fight. Baidu search love Go Pshao Shua www.aichux.com. I don't want to fight. You're the ones who are forcing me. The silver-robed man waved his arm and a large sword appeared in his hand. Chen Yuan, do you think I don't exist? If you want to fight, I'll fight with you. A figure appeared in front of Wu Lingfei and then slowly solidified. It was a woman in a blue robe and a golden mask. Wuji Saint. It's not me who wants to fight, it's Tianji Tower who wants to destroy the Tianfeng dynasty. The silver-robed Chen Yuan bowed and said, his attitude obviously much more respectful. Destroy your Tianfeng dynasty. When the Tianfeng dynasty bullied Tianji Tower and went to Taiyue domain to fight, you died? Or are you pretending not to know? The blue-robed everlasting saint said coldly. Chen Yuan really doesn't know. Chen Yuan bowed. Don't play dumb with me. I own a tea house in Taiching City, and there's nothing in the world that I don't know. It's not that I didn't know about your attack on the Night Moon dynasty, but I felt that there was no point in asking about it after the fact, so I didn't ask about it. Since you're not going to abide by the Holy Accord, there's no point in keeping it. The blue-robed everlasting saint waved his arm and a piece of golden paper with a radius of about 3 meters rose into the air. Then, it started to burn. Everlasting saint, how can you do this? Chen Yuan's expression turned ugly when he saw the burning golden paper. The golden paper burned, and the golden light flew into the sky and spread out in all directions. How is that possible? All of you are attacking one by one. Is this holy accord made for me? The blue-robed everlasting saint roared. It's the Tianfeng dynasty's fault this time. I'll go back and restrain them. Chen Yuan cupped his hands and said, 0/0/0/0/0/0 If you didn't come out, I would have asked them to stop when it was about time, but now, it's too late. Lord K, as the Supreme Elder of Tianji Tower, I order all the people of Tianji Tower to continue to push forward 1,000,000 miles. Anyone who dares to stop us will be killed. The blue-robed everlasting saint raised his right hand, which was holding a token with the word everlasting on it. Yes, Supreme Elder. Lin Yuandao and the others bowed and waved their hands to let the people on the ground continue to push forward. Tianji Tower's tokens were all made of metal, but the materials were different. There was also a Supreme Elder's token made of jade. The corner of Chen Yuan's eyes twitched, but he didn't say anything. If the Tianji Tower pushed forward another 1,000,000 miles, the territory of the Tianfeng dynasty would be reduced by more than half. However, if he resisted, the Tianfeng dynasty might be destroyed. Chen Yuan, let me give you a piece of advice. You can't bully the heavenly Tao. The consequences of attacking the Night Moon dynasty are very serious. You know too little. You don't know the real Moon Emperor, and you don't have the qualifications to know. Get lost. The blue-robed everlasting saint waved his sleeve, and waves of ripples appeared in front of Chen Yuan out of thin air, directly sending him flying. Lin Yuandao greets Supreme Elder. Lin Yuandao cupped his hands to the blue-robed everlasting saint. Wu Lingfei and the others also bowed. It shouldn't be a problem. The Tianfeng dynasty won't dare to resist. Come to my tea house to talk. The blue-robed everlasting saint nodded to Lin Yuandao and the others. Then, the blue-robed everlasting saint led them to a small, inconspicuous tea house in the Taiching domain. You have a lot of questions, right? I'll just casually mention them to you. I used to be the head of the Tianji Tower. Do you know the name Xiaolongjun? The blue-robed everlasting saint said to them. Upon hearing this name, Lin Yuandao and the others rose to their feet and bowed again, because Xiaolongjun used to be the head of the Tianji Tower. The human race in the realm of unbounded desolation had changed because of Xiaolongjun. Then, Xiaolongjun told them some secrets that no one knew about, which were the secrets of the ancient God Seal War. Whenever the Nine Realms world reached its peak, there would be inexplicable wars. Some outsiders would appear and slaughter the saints of the Nine Realms world. Some even said that they came to rob the saints of the Nine Realms world of unbounded desolation. It was like livestock that would be harvested when the time came. In order to avoid unnecessary consumption, the saints of the Nine Realms world of unbounded desolation signed an agreement not to interfere in the wars between realms and those below the Saint Realm. This agreement was known as the Holy Accord. The Holy Accord was proposed by the Moon Emperor, and I initiated it. However, there are still people who don't abide by it. Since that's the case, it's better to suppress them with force and eliminate those who don't abide by it, lest a rat spoils the whole pot of soup, Xiaolongjun said. The Moon Emperor. Isn't the Moon Emperor Night Sky an invincible venerable? How could he be qualified to propose the Holy Accord? Lin Yuandao looked at Xiaolongjun in surprise. He couldn't understand what Xiaolongjun was saying. The Moon Emperor is an invincible venerable. That's just his soul doppelganger. His true body's cultivation base is unfathomable. Even I don't know how strong it is. Xiaolongjun sighed. The Moon Emperor's soul doppelganger had already awed an entire era. This was something that no one else could compare to. Then where are his true body and soul doppelganger now? Wu Lingfei asked. She was very concerned about this because it was related to night sorrow. The Moon Emperor entered the Saint Realm with the power of space. However, he felt that it wasn't enough. Since he could break the spatial barrier, he traveled to different realms to pursue a higher cultivation base, Xiaolongjun said. Entering the Saint Realm with the power of space isn't enough. What kind of cultivation base is he pursuing? Guo Xiao asked in surprise. He mentioned that he wanted to become a Saint Realm with the power of time and space. That would be second only to the saints with the supreme element. That would be truly invincible. Xiaolongjun revealed the Moon Emperor Night Sky's ambition. The Night Moon dynasty has been suppressed to this extent. If the Moon Emperor returns, wouldn't it be a storm? Guo Xiao asked. Chapter 6:16. Genius 1 second. Remember love, Guo Xiao. We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Are they still very strong? Lin Yuandao asked. Baidu search love Guo Xiao say www.aichux.com. They are very strong, but they don't have a saint, especially Yiling Huan, who is known as the Invincible King. He has been a half-step saint for a long time, but he was seriously injured by Qin Yuan's sneak attack. His origin was damaged, and he has not recovered. The Sea of Night Moon is a place where space rules are very strong. It is only a matter of time before he becomes a saint, Xiaolongjun said. Qin Yuan is a saint and can control the power of rules. Didn't he chase into the Sea of Night Moon? If he did, wouldn't the Night Moon dynasty be destroyed? Wu Lingfei said. He wants to chase, but he doesn't dare. The Sea of Night Moon is full of space turbulence. The people of the Night Moon dynasty, who have the protection of space energy, have the advantage. If several emperors of the Night Moon dynasty join forces and use their unique talent, the space crack, then Qin Yuan will die. Do you think he dares to chase? Xiaolongjun said the reason why the Night Moon dynasty was not destroyed, even if there were saints. Baidu search love Guo Xiao say www.aichux.com. Read novels for free for a long time. So that's how it is. I'm worried about that kid, Lin Yuandao said with a sigh of relief after knowing that the Night Moon dynasty was not destroyed. Which kid? Xiaolongjun looked at Lin Yuandao with some confusion. Grand Elder, I want to appoint a young master. He is a direct descendant of the Night Moon dynasty. Baidu shout save Wuku, Lin Yuandao said. The greatest significance of the Empyrean Terminus Tower's existence is to give cultivators some opportunities and balance out the relationships between some forces. Those in power must have a sense of justice and the overall situation. Does Tower Lord think that person can do it? Xiaolongjun asked Lin Yuandao. Grand Elder, here is all the information about Night Sorrow, from when he had no cultivation to when he was able to kill a venerable. There is also some analysis of his personality and temperament. Lin Yuandao took out a handbook and handed it to Xiaolongjun. Lin Yuandao had recorded all the details of Night Sorrow's growth in detail. Xiaolongjun read page by page. She even read some pages twice. Half an hour later, she put down the book. Xiao Lanjun looked at Lin Yuandao, Wu Lingfei, Gui Shao, and Lutrin Swan and said, according to the records here, his temperament is perfect, his combat strength is outstanding, and he can see the big picture. He is simply a perfect person. I'm not praising him, but he is a perfect seedling. He provided us with the origin stones to enter the saint realm and half-saint realm. He didn't ask for anything in return. He didn't take advantage of Tianji Tower, Guo Shao said. He had a very good impression of Night Sorrow. Vice Palace Master Wu, you should be the calmest among you. You can even say that your state of mind is the best. What do you think? Xiao Lanjun looked at Wu Lingfei and asked. When it comes to Yishan, I have the least right to speak. When I was injured in the Realm War, it was because of him that I was able to recover. He was also the one who brought me Source Stones and Life Saint Crystals to help me enter the Saint Realm. He calls me aunt, so I treat him like family, said Wu Lingfei. Ha! So you all have unanimously agreed. Then there's no problem. After listening to what you said, my evaluation just now was still 1 point off. That guy still has great luck. Otherwise, the Space-Time Pagoda wouldn't have recognized him as its master. The matter of the Space-Time Pagoda still needs to be resolved, Xiao Lanjun said. Why? Is there still trouble with the Space-Time Pagoda? Wu Lingfei asked. Yes, Saint Silver Dusk from the Qingtian domain doesn't intend to let it go. She just doesn't dare to go to the Eastern Profound Domain, Xiao Lanjun said. Spirit treasures of heaven and earth belong to the virtuous. What else does she plan to do? She already went too far when she interfered in the Realm War. Who is afraid of her? Wu Lingfei became angry when she heard that the saint from the Qingtian domain didn't intend to let it go. In the past, I didn't know that the Space-Time Pagoda was in the hands of Tianji Tower, so I ignored her. Now that I know, of course I have to deal with it. Since the Covenant of the Saints has been burned, let's fight whoever wants to. Xiao Lanjun also erupted with fighting spirit. Thank you, Grand Elder. Lin Yuandao bowed to Xiao Lanjun. All of you are not bad, especially Vice Palace Master Wu. As long as you improve your cultivation, you will be an expert among the saints. That Qin Yuan is nothing compared to you. Foundation. Although many people value it, how many people can really endure it and advance with advanced attributes? Xiao Lanjun looked at Wu Lingfei and nodded approvingly. She knew that Wu Lingfei had defeated Ji Yuhaitian. Yi Shang and Yun Huang's days were very pleasant. Every day, they would drink tea together, drink wine together, and then cultivate. Gu Jun went out to gather information every day. Now, he wasn't the only one gathering information. He had already mobilized the people in Weo City to gather information elsewhere. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were very excited when they found out that the Tianji Tower had declared war on the Tianfeng dynasty and defeated it. They immediately pulled Gu Jun to celebrate. The appearance of a saint has caused the world to be in chaos. However, it has also restrained the others. They won't dare to act recklessly. This is a good thing. Gu Jun said. Let's work harder. Once we reach the Venerable Realm, we will go and kill. We will kill wherever you tell us to. Every time we attack, we will change our location. Let's see what they can do to us. Yun Huang was very excited. However, it hasn't been long since I reached the void inquiry stage. I still need to stabilize my cultivation base. Night Sorrow said after sensing his cultivation base. Don't worry. Even if you aren't a Venerable Realm expert, isn't killing Venerable Realm experts like playing a game? Yun Huang admired Night Sorrow very much. Young Lord, no one in the Night Moon knows about your identity now. They only know that a direct descendant of the Night Moon's royal family has appeared. They are all furious and have formed guards in every city. As long as it's not a venerable realm expert, they won't be able to occupy our cities. Looking at the current situation, the people of the other dynasties won't dare to act recklessly. Our night moon can recover for a while. Gu Jun said. I hope that my appearance won't cause everyone to suffer a blow. Night Sorrow expressed the biggest concern in his heart. It won't. Young Lord's appearance has given everyone a pillar of support and hope. Young Lord, please wait for me for a while. Gu Yun left as soon as she finished speaking. After that, she took out a stack of square yellow satin. What's this? Night Sorrow looked at Gu Yun and asked. It was because Gu Yun was very serious. She was holding the satin with both hands. The Night Moon battle flag. Young Lord, please take care of it. Gu Jun knelt down on one knee and raised the yellow satin above his head with both hands. Night Sorrow stood up and received the yellow satin with both hands. Then, he shook his arm and unfolded the battle flag. It was a battle flag embroidered with a blue night sky with stars in the night sky and a bright moon hanging in the sky. Later, the two of us will hang the battle flag in the sky of the night moon. As long as the venerable realm experts don't come, the two of us have nothing to be afraid of. No matter how many small fries come, we will kill them all. Yun Huang said. However, I will have to drag you into the water and fight together with me. Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and said apologetically. Chapter 617. Geniuses remember love in 1 second. We provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang arrived at Night Moon Sky in the evening. Night Sorrow hung the battle flag on the top of the damaged Night Moon Palace. That's right. I don't think those dogs will come easily. After all, it's a chaotic situation now. The war at Tianji Tower has made them feel insecure, Yun Huang said. Night Sorrow nodded. He took out a jar of wine and threw it to Yun Huang. The two of them poured half a jar in front of the monument and started drinking. Just as the two of them were drinking, two old men appeared at Night Moon Sky with a group of guards. Yi Xiaoyuan greets young master, the old man bowed to Night Sorrow. The people behind him even knelt on one knee. Senior, you're exaggerating. I'm from Night Moon Sky, but I'm not your young master. Night Sorrow reached out and helped the old man called Yi Xiaoyuan up. You must be a direct descendant of the Night Moon dynasty to be able to use space rend. You must be the young master of the Night Moon dynasty. Also, Gu Jun has met me, so we know about young master, Yi Xiaoyuan said. I'm sure I'm from Night Moon Sky, but don't say anything else because it might not be accurate. You can just call me Night Sorrow, Night Sorrow said to Yi Xiaoyuan and the others. However, Yi Xiaoyuan and the others still insisted. Then, Yi Xiaoyuan told Night Sorrow that he had already formed a group of guards with the people of Night Moon Sky. As long as there were no venerables, Night Moon City would be safe. Let's leave it at Night Moon Sky for now. Let the other areas be built. I think even if they do something, they will target me and the direct descendants of Night Moon Sky. They won't target ordinary people. The king's order from the Yun dynasty and the war at Tianji Tower will affect them greatly, Night Sorrow said to Yi Xiaoyuan. Yi Xiaoyuan nodded, then turned around and gave the order to arrange this matter. Following that, Yi Xiaoyuan and Yi Qingfeng introduced the current situation of Night Moon City to Night Sorrow. Most of the people from the Night Moon dynasty who entered the Night Moon Sea were high-level cultivators and direct descendants of the royal family. Other than those who left, there were many other branches in the various cities of the Night Moon dynasty. However, because the main force was not present, continuing to fight would be a meaningless sacrifice. Therefore, the high-level cultivators who could easily attract the attention of the other party had already gone into hiding, leaving behind only the citizens below the 5th step. As for the subsidiary cities, some chose to leave and live in the mountains, while some chose to come to Night Moon City. Baidu search AI go female sign shao say www.aichuxs.com, that is to say, there are still many cultivators in Night Moon City? Yunhuang asked. Yes, they used to live the lives of ordinary people. However, after young master appeared, everyone organized themselves. Other than the fact that there are no venerables in Night Moon City, everything else is on the right track, Yi Xiaoyuan said. Then let's continue like this. If there is a battle, they will come for me. They won't do anything to Night Moon City. Knight Sorrow nodded, secretly praising the strength of the Night Moon dynasty. This was because the guards led by Yi Xiaoyuan and Yi Qingfeng were all late-stage fifth-step cultivators. This strength had far surpassed the Medicine Valley when there were no venerables. Yes, young master, just be careful. Yi Xiaoyuan bowed to Knight Sorrow. After that, Knight Sorrow and Yunhuang left Night Moon City and rushed towards Wuyo City. Ninth uncle, he doesn't seem to care whether he is the young master or not. However, since he can use the space crack, he must be the young master, Yi Qingfeng said as he looked in the direction Knight Sorrow left. He is from Wuyo City, which means that he is the only grandson of the Invincible Prince. He is the direct descendant of the Invincible Prince. If nothing happens to the Night Moon dynasty, he is the most likely successor to the throne, Yi Xiaoyuan said. This news must be kept a secret. If it is leaked, the other dynasties will definitely do anything to deal with young master. We can't let anything happen to young master, Yi Xiaoyuan said as he looked in the direction Knight Sorrow left. The invincible Prince Ling Huan is the flag of our Night Moon. Prince Wuyo has a high cultivation base and is loved by everyone. I believe that young master Knight Sorrow will also be the pride of our Night Moon, Yi Qingfeng said. Knight Sorrow and Yunhuang stayed in Wuyo City and cultivated peacefully. Now, Wuyo City had changed. Its popularity had increased and it was no longer in a dilapidated state. In addition, the guards had also appeared and the city was peaceful. The news of young master's appearance is a great encouragement to the people of Night Moon. I believe that it won't be long before those reclusive Night Moon venerables return. Gu Jun brought a pot of tea to Knight Sorrow and Yunhuang. This is what our Night Moon family owes everyone, Knight Sorrow said. Young master, please don't say that. The Night Moon Empire was created by the Night Clan. Under the Night Clan, everyone is living a good life. Everyone is grateful and has no complaints, Gu Jun said. After Gu Jun left, Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and had a plan. Brother, I'm going to fight. You can either wait for me here or wait for me in the Taiqing region, Knight Sorrow said to Yunhuang after thinking for a while. You fight and I'll just watch. Isn't that a joke? Yunhuang stared at Knight Sorrow. Yunhuang, we are brothers. Then I won't hide it from you. As long as I don't meet anyone that's too ruthless, I have ways to protect myself. After saying that, Knight Sorrow disappeared in a flash and entered the Spacetime Pagoda. The Spacetime Pagoda's body turned into the size of a finger and floated in the air. Then, it streaked across space and disappeared. Then, Knight Sorrow appeared in front of Yunhuang again. Holy sh*t, what's going on? Today, I'm going to be shameless. I need to learn from you, Yunhuang said as he grabbed Knight Sorrow's sleeve. Ha! I won't hide it from you. This isn't a cultivation technique, it's a magical treasure. You should have heard of the Qingtian region's Shantian Pagoda, which is the Spacetime Pagoda. It's in my hands. If I encounter a powerful enemy, I can hide in it and then escape, Knight Sorrow said. Isn't that easy? Let's go fight together. When the time comes, both of us can go in and we'll be done. Yunhuang's face was filled with excitement. Then let's give it a try. Don't resist. I'll wrap you with my soul force and see if it works. Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang. He then communicated with Shao Kong. After communicating with Shao Kong, Night Sorrow released his soul power and enveloped Yun Huang before entering the space-time pagoda. Ha! This is the interior of the Shantian pagoda. As long as I can come in with you, I'll be safe. Let's go. You choose the location and we'll start killing. Yun Huang said as he waved his arms excitedly. Since you're willing to fight with me, I, Night Sorrow, have nothing else to say. As long as I'm alive, I won't let you get hurt, Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang. Then, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang exited the space-time pagoda. Chapter 6:18. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small. We provide you with interesting novels to read. Alright, let's say goodbye to Uncle Gu and leave. The earlier we take action, the safer Night Moon City will be. Night Sorrow nodded. But we still have to investigate properly before taking action. Since they are shameless enough to use a venerable to kill us, we have nothing else to say. Let's be more despicable and kill them while ensuring our own safety. Yun Huang expressed his thoughts. At night, Gu Yun returned. Night Sorrow told her about his and Yun Huang's plan. No way. It's too dangerous. You are the direct descendant of the Night Moon dynasty and everyone's hope. You can't take such a risk. Gu Jun didn't care about seniority and immediately objected. New idiot is the fastest. I am the descendant of the Night Moon dynasty. I have to take responsibility. Although it's a little risky, it's worth it to exchange for the safety of millions of Night Moon citizens. Night Sorrow shook his head. Young master, you can't do that. Gu Jun's face was filled with worry. It's settled then. I will be careful. Taking revenge for Night Moon is my mission. I won't let myself fall before completing my mission. Yun Huang, let's go. Night Sorrow shouted to Yun Huang. Gu Yun helplessly watched Night Sorrow and Yun Huang leave. Riding on their mounts, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang each held a jar of wine and drank as they traveled. This time, the two didn't head towards Dragontail City. Instead, they chose Thousand Creek City, the closest city to Wind City in the Night Moon region. The two of them planned to kill from Thousand Creek City. Oh right, that Chen Something's venerable ring is still with me. Come over quickly and let's split the loot. Yun Huang waved at Night Sorrow. This was Yun Huang. He knew that Night Sorrow wouldn't accept it even if he gave it to Night Sorrow. Hence, he directly called for Night Sorrow to split the loot. Coming. Hearing Yun Huang's words, Night Sorrow didn't argue. With a flash, he landed on the back of the silver-winged eagle controlled by the ghost wolf. With a thought, Yun Huang opened Chen Haoran's storage ring. Chen Haoran was a venerable one, so his foundation was relatively solid. What shocked Night Sorrow was that this guy had a space crystal. Although it was not big, it could still split into two. Take this. We'll split it into 5 high-grade crystals, 150 per person, Yun Huang said as he tossed the space crystal to Night Sorrow. That won't do. This spatial spirit stone is more valuable than anything else, Night Sorrow said. The Yun dynasty has set up all the teleportation formations that should be set up, but what about you? If you want to rebuild the Night Moon Empire, don't you need to build a teleportation array? If you need it, then don't talk nonsense with me. Chen Haoran was killed by you. Why should I be so thick-skinned as to share the loot with you? Because we're brothers, you know. Yun Huang waved his arm and put away half of the spirit stones. That's true. We're all brothers. Why would I be so courteous with you? That would be treating you as an outsider. Night Sorrow smiled at Yun Huang. He knew that Yun Huang treated him as a brother. If he continued to be pretentious, then it would be meaningless. Yun Huang laughed heartily. He liked the feeling of having brothers. His cousins in the Yun dynasty all had a sense of self-interest, but he didn't like it. That was why he had been wandering alone all these years. I'm not worried about Night's sorrow. What I'm worried about is Ji Yuhao. He has the power of time. He's too hard to deal with, said Yun Huang. Night's sorrow looked at Yun Huang and asked, will you be able to protect yourself against him after you enter the Exalt realm? Defeating him is impossible. However, in a short battle, you should be able to protect yourself. After all, I cultivate the lightning attribute. Moreover, it is an attribute that is infinitely close to the pinnacle of Black Fury lightning. You have a chance of defeating him. So, the crux of the problem lies with you. Yun Huang said to Yishan. Let's go, Yun Huang said to Yishan. I'll be fine. As long as I become a venerable one, I won't be suppressed by him anymore, Night's sorrow said confidently. That's good. This is the first time I've been bullied in so many years. You've got to help me get back at them, Yun Huang said. Night's sorrow smiled at Yun Huang. I have some good wine that I want to try. Do you want to try it? Then what are you waiting for? Hurry up and take it out. Hearing Night's sorrow's words, Yun Huang's eyes lit up. Yishang took out a jar of Sun Dragon wine, then took out a wine bowl and poured a bowl for each of them. Yun Huang took the wine bowl and drank half of it. F***CK. What wine is this? I can't take it anymore. I need to meditate and cultivate. After drinking half a bowl of wine, Yun Huang's face was red. He couldn't bear to part with the remaining half of the wine. He took out a pill bottle and poured the wine into it without looking at what kind of pill it was. Then, he closed his eyes and meditated. Night's sorrow held the wine bowl and looked at the meditating Yun Huang. Then, he looked at the silver-winged eagle. Ghost Wolf, I'm Yun Huang's brother. Just keep flying forward. Night's sorrow returned to Tianyu's back and looked at the wine bowl in his hand. Night's sorrow drank it in one gulp. After drinking it, Night's sorrow understood why Yun Huang's face changed and why he needed to meditate and cultivate. The Sun Dragon wine contained blood and yang qi that was too strong. Night's sorrow also sat down and started to cultivate. It took Yishang 4 hours to refine a bowl of wine. He could feel that the cultivation of the myriad Tao treasured tome had increased. There was also an evil feeling in his heart. Yishang knew what was going on. It was the excessive yang qi. In the evening, Night's sorrow and Yun Huang woke up from their meditation. What wine is this? It's killing me. I need to find a city quickly. I can't take it anymore. I need to find a girl. Yun Huang tidied up a part of his robe. Night's sorrow looked at Yun Huang and laughed. How do you feel? Great. I just can't take it. When you need it, drink a little. The effect is definitely strong. Yun Huang gave Night's sorrow a thumbs up. Can I give you some more? Night's sorrow looked at Yun Huang and asked. Not for now. When I need it, I'll ask you for more. What is this wine made from? Yun Huang asked, puzzled. It's made from the dragon root of a pinnacle honorable 5-clawed pterosaur and some precious herbs. Night's sorrow said. The dragon root of a pinnacle honorable 5-clawed pterosaur. You're ruthless. In the 9 regions and 18 states, there's no one else like you. Yun Huang took a deep breath and said. I'm cultivating my body. That's why I need these things. Night's sorrow said to Yun Huang. All right. Give me a jar of the other wine. Yun Huang said. Let's set up camp later. We'll make some barbecue before drinking. Night's sorrow said to Yun Huang. Then, Tianyu caught a wild deer. Night's sorrow and Yun Huang set up camp. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were both solo trainees. They were very good at cooking barbecue. Then, the two of them cut the deer meat to go with the wine. We're still 3 days away from Thousand Creek City. When the time comes, you'll be in charge of fending off the experts. I'll take care of the underlings and light the fire. Yun Huang said after taking a sip of wine. Chapter 6:19. Genius 1 second. Remember, love divided by go divided by little. I'll provide you with interesting novels to read. I'm not stupid. Can't I wear a veil or something? Yun Huang said to Night Sorrow. Love go little say W. Chu, yeah, that's for the best. Night Sorrow nodded. This mask is quite unique, but I can't bring trouble to Tianji Tower. Yun Huang flipped his palm and tossed a mask back and forth. Yishang stretched out his hand and caught the mask that Yun Huang had thrown into the air. After taking a serious look at it, Yishang smiled. We can really play together in the future. Yun Huang took the mask from Night Sorrow and looked at Night Sorrow. What's wrong? You are a celestial emissary of Tianji Tower. Coincidentally, I also have a mask like this. Night Sorrow also took out his celestial mask. That D*MN supervisor told me that there are only 3 celestial emissaries in Tianji Tower, including me. Why are there so many celestial emissaries now? Yun Huang said with some dissatisfaction. What do you mean by so many? Including you, there are only 3 celestial emissaries. It's really fate that we can meet in advance. Night Sorrow was speechless. So many celestial emissaries? There were only 3 celestial emissaries in the 9 regions and 18 prefectures. Ha! My mouth really doesn't know how to speak. Yun Huang also realized that his words were wrong. That's just you. I don't mind. However, if that person hears this, she will definitely not be happy, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'm really happy. I've always been worried that after joining Tianji Tower, I would be restricted and have no like-minded companions. Now, I'm relieved. By the way, what's the situation with that person? Yun Huang asked. Night Sorrow briefly explained Ling Long's situation and the God-slaying squad situation. The situation is good. I'll go with you to see the God-slaying squad when the time comes. I acknowledge you as a brother, but I want to see the others. Not everyone can be my brother, Yun Huang said as he drank. Ha! They are all good men. Not everyone can be my brother, Night Sorrow said. After eating, the two of them began to meditate and cultivate. Tianji Tower directly pushed forward 1,000,000 miles and announced to the outside world that this area was the territory of Tianji Tower's first base. Whoever wanted it could come and try. Tianji Tower was not willing to fight, but whoever wanted to fight, they would definitely accompany them to the end. Even the self-proclaimed #1 force in the Taiqing region, the Tianfeng dynasty, was no match for Tianji Tower, so the other dynasties didn't dare to act recklessly. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao say www.aichuxs. Com. The main reason was that the strength displayed by Tianji Tower this time was too strong. It swept through the Tianfeng dynasty like it was a game. Such a battle situation shocked the 9 regions. At that time, many people in Spreading Wings City knew that Saint Qin Yuan of the Tianfeng dynasty didn't dare to take action. This invisible deterrent force made all the forces not dare to act recklessly. If Tianji Tower claimed to be the #2 force in the 9 regions, no force would dare to claim to be the #1. In the later part of the battle, the members of the Tianfeng dynasty retreated voluntarily. However, they were forced to retreat in the early part of the battle. They lost a lot of people and could be said to have suffered a serious blow. Their reputation was damaged, and their strength plummeted. I go shao say w. Chu after expanding their territory by 1,000,000 miles, Tianji Tower didn't directly rule. They still handed over these occupied areas to some subsidiary forces to manage. However, everyone knew who the territory belonged to. Such a situation made all the forces in the Taiqing region not dare to act recklessly. They knew that the Night Moon dynasty had begun to recover, but they didn't do anything. Everyone was worried that if they jumped out at this time, they would be attacked by Tianji Tower. After all, the Night Moon dynasty was such a large area. Who knew if Tianji Tower would care about it? The Golden Dragon King dynasty and the Qingming dynasty even withdrew from the territory of the Night Moon dynasty that they had previously occupied. The Yun dynasty also made a move. They directly set up a blockade around the Night Moon dynasty and announced that anyone who dared to touch the ordinary people in the Taiqing region would be declaring war on the Yun dynasty. The other 5 dynasties didn't react to the Yun dynasty's actions, which was equivalent to tacit agreement. At this time, no one wanted to become enemies with the Yun dynasty. It should be known that Yun Tianlong's strength was outstanding, and his identity as the deputy city lord could also summon a large number of cultivators. When the 5 dynasties attacked the Night Moon dynasty back then, Yun Tianlong wasn't there. Otherwise, the 5 dynasties wouldn't have been so unscrupulous. Night Sorrow and Yun Huang continued to sneak toward Thousand Creek City. Thousand Creek City was a relatively remote city in the Sky King dynasty. There weren't many soldiers guarding it. This was also the reason why Night Sorrow and Yun Huang chose to go there first. The two sneaked into Thousand Creek City in the middle of the night. Under the cover of the night, the two of them directly went to the city lord's mansion and began to assassinate. Yong Ijo, plus free reading, novels. Night Sorrow's soul force was strong, and his detection ability was strong. Unknowingly, most of the city lord's mansion's guards were killed by Night Sorrow. However, Night Sorrow's actions were still discovered by a peak rank 5 guard commander. Although this guard commander was only able to block a few moves before being killed by Yishang, it was enough to stop Yishang's assassination. Since they couldn't assassinate, they had to fight openly. Night Sorrow also understood the situation here. There was only one city lord who was a beginner supremacy. A beginner supremacy was nothing in Night Sorrow's eyes. Night Sorrow continued to kill people. Yun Huang blocked the city lord's mansion's door and continued to kill people. His pair of scimitars slashed the guards until they cried out. He even took the prepared fire torches and threw them around the city lord's mansion. Night Sorrow and the city lord, who was a rank 2 supremacy, attacked each other. The city lord's mansion's guards also surrounded Night Sorrow. However, the sword chi and scimitar couldn't even break through Night Sorrow's protective barrier. "Brother, you hold on. I'll go loot the storeroom," Yun Huang shouted as he rushed into the city lord's mansion. As he rushed, he killed and set fire to the city lord's mansion. "Don't worry, I'll hold them off," Night Sorrow shouted. Right now, he didn't feel any pressure at all. "Who exactly are you people? Do you think our Sky Wind dynasty is easy to mess with?" The city lord shouted as he fought. Right now, he was completely suppressed by Night Sorrow. Therefore, he hoped to use the name of the Sky Wind dynasty to scare off the 2 robbers, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang. In his eyes, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang were 2 daring robbers who didn't care about their lives. "Trying to scare me with the name of the Sky Wind dynasty? You're thinking too much." Hearing the city lord's shout, Yun Huang shouted back. "There's no harm in telling you. I'm Night Moon, Night Sorrow. As long as I'm alive, your Sky Wind dynasty will never have a day of peace. If I have the time, I'll come and kill everyone from your Sky Wind dynasty." Night Sorrow didn't plan to hide his identity. Not intending to continue fighting, Night Sorrow used his innate skill, spatial rend. Then, he rushed forward and used his reincarnation spear to attack the city lord. When the city lord of Thousand Creek City saw Night Sorrow's spatial rend, his expression changed drastically. He waved his sword to block it. Because the two of them were too close, there was no way for him to dodge. Gotcha! The city lord of Thousand Creek City's weapon shattered and his right arm was cut off by the spatial rend. At this moment, Night Sorrow's right arm shook violently and the reincarnation spear pierced through the city lord's chest. Then, Night Sorrow pushed the city lord forward until they reached the white wall of the city lord's mansion. Chapter 620. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao. Talk Web, providing you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow left 7 words, Night Moon, Night Sorrow, I'm coming. On the white wall, the 7 words in bright red were very eye-catching. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao say www.aichuxs. Xiong Night Sorrow then took the unlucky city lord's storage ring and left Thousand Creek City on a flying beast with Yun Huang, who had set the place on fire and robbed the warehouse. 2,000 miles away from Thousand Creek City, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang set up camp. No one can become rich without a windfall. I found 2 chests of spirit stones and a pile of materials in the storehouse of the city magistrate's mansion. With that, Yun Huang waved his hand and 2 chests appeared, along with a pile of materials. Not bad, the harvest is quite big. Night Sorrow said. Let's see what's inside first. Yun Huang opened the boxes. There were 2 boxes of spirit stones inside, but they were all middle-grade spirit stones. There were less than 100 high-grade spirit stones. I don't want the spirit stones. I'm an alchemist. Just give me the materials. Night Sorrow said. No, the materials are trash to me. They don't count. We'll split the spirit stones. Yun Huang didn't wait for Night Sorrow to speak and took half of the spirit stones. All right. You're generous. Night Sorrow smiled and kept the materials. Actually, it's not that I'm generous, it's you. Because you don't need the materials for a rank 4 pill. After you refine it into a pill, you'll give it to others. You're willing to give up half of your benefits for others. That's why you're more generous than me. Yun Huang said. Night Sorrow shook his head, it's good as long as I have enough resources. If I can help those around me, I'll help them. /update w/noob, fastest %ion plus, that's why the materials are yours. Night Moon also needs the support of pills. Yun Huang said. There are still resources here that we haven't divided. Night Sorrow took out the storage ring of the Venerable City Lord and took out the resources inside. A venerable level cultivator was rich. The resources in this storage ring were even more abundant than the City Lord's mansion storage that Yun Huang had robbed. The 2 of them laughed and divided the loot. After resting for a night, the 2 of them continued on their journey. Yun Huang and Night Sorrow held the map and chose the cities they wanted to attack on the Windy Dynasty's map. In over 20 days, Night Sorrow and Yun Huang had massacred 6 cities. They had killed 4 venerable level city lords and plundered a lot of resources. While they were rushing to set up camp, Night Sorrow was refining pills. Whether it was tier 3 or tier 4 pills, he was even refining tier 2 pills. He wanted to prepare a batch of resources for Night Moon City. The 2 of them attacked the cities of the Tianfeng dynasty without any scruples, causing the Tianfeng dynasty to be alarmed at the slightest sound and increased the number of people sent to every city. Ignoring Night Sorrow, Yun Huang changed their target and began to slaughter the Qingming dynasty. The 2 of them didn't have a fixed target. In any case, in the Taiqing domain, other than the Yun dynasty, all the other forces had participated in the attack on the Night Moon dynasty. No matter who they attacked, no one would be wronged. Following Night Sorrow and Yun Huang's crazy actions, the two of them became famous. The entire Taiqing domain knew that there were two madmen who went against the Tianfeng dynasty and the Qingming dynasty before they reached the venerable realm. Knight Sorrow's name completely resounded, and the demon hunter also became famous. This was because before every battle, Yun Huang would shout, "The demon hunter is here, prepare to die." In the underground palace of the Taiqing domain's first base, the higher-ups of the Tianji Tower were having a meeting. "Isn't Knight Sorrow messing around? This is a dangerous place," Guo said with some annoyance. According to the description, the kid with him is our Tianji Tower's third celestial terminus envoy, Yun Huang. If it didn't involve Yun Huang, the Yun dynasty wouldn't have reacted like this, Lu Trinswan said. "It's very dangerous. The other party can't find them, and we can't find them either. We can't help them even if we want to," Lin Yuandao said. Knight Sorrow isn't a brainless person, and the kid from the Yun dynasty isn't a fool either. The two of them must have a plan and a purpose. Knight Sorrow did this to attract the attention of the other dynasties and make the Night Moon City more peaceful, Wu Lingfei said. If asked who among the people in the hall knew Knight Sorrow the best, it was of course her. He flattened 8 or 9 city lord mansions of the Tianfeng dynasty and Qingming dynasty and killed many venerables. This courage is worthy of praise. Very good. Xia Lanjun, who had been silent all this time, said. We still have to find a way to catch these two bastards, Guo said. If it's easy to find them, the Tianfeng dynasty wouldn't have been wiped out and several city lord mansions couldn't do anything. This is a skill. Moreover, even if the Tianfeng dynasty and the Qingming dynasty captured them, they would kill them to establish their prestige. If they wanted to kill them, they would have to announce it to the world. We would still have a chance to rescue them. Xia Lanjun said. Lin Yuandao and the others nodded. They had no other choice now. Knight Sorrow wanted to avenge the Night Moon dynasty, and they couldn't openly support him. Are you still worried? Why don't you think more about what kind of person Yun Tianlong is? How can he not leave a backup plan for his descendants? I don't believe that he didn't leave a backup plan. Whoever believes that is a fool. Xia Lanjun muttered and left the underground hall. Yes, we are too nervous. It should be fine. Let them do what they want. Lin Yuandao said with a smile. Wu Lingfei and the others came to a courtyard. City Lord, what's the situation with our captain? Ho Jian asked. I don't know, but they are safe. No one knows where they are. Wu Lingfei looked at Yang Lei and Xikong Chuyu and said. Can we go out and fight? Yang Lei asked. No. Knight Sorrow and the others can kill venerables. Even if they can't kill them, they can guarantee that they can escape unscathed. Can you? Wu Lingfei said with a frown. Hearing Wu Lingfei's words, no one said anything. No one could guarantee that they could escape unscathed like Knight Sorrow. If you are willing, then go to Night Moon City and take a look. If anyone dares to cause trouble in Night Moon City, you can help Knight Sorrow as much as you can. After thinking for a while, Wu Lingfei gave the God-slaying squad a suggestion. The members of the God-slaying squad bowed to Wu Lingfei and then prepared to set off. The dynasties of the Grand Pure Domain were in chaos because of Knight Sorrow and Yun Huang's robbery. However, Night Moon City was in an uproar. Once news of Knight Sorrow attacking a city spread, Night Moon City would be in an uproar for a while. The main reason was that the people of Night Moon City had been suppressed for too long. The Night Clan was their pride, and now Knight Sorrow was regaining that pride. On an island in the sea, the purple-robed man trembled as he listened to the report from the scout in front of him. Spatial Rend. Night Moon Dynasty. Knight Sorrow. Investigate with all your might. I want to know everything about him. Also, pay attention to the situation in Night Moon City. The purple-robed man issued a series of orders. Chapter 621. Genius 1 second. Remember love/go/little. We will provide you with interesting novels to read. After thinking for a while, the purple-robed man turned around, tore open space, and disappeared again. The current situation in the Tai Ching domain was beyond his expectations. It should be beyond the expectations of the Night Moon clan. After eating and drinking in the camp once again, Yunhuang said, "My cultivation has reached a bottleneck. It's just that my realm is a little lacking. How about you?" "I can't do it. I still need some time. However, I will be in seclusion tonight. If it goes well, we will continue the plan tomorrow. If there is not enough time, we will postpone the plan," Night Sorrow said. After this period of battle and hard work, Night Sorrow's vital energy cultivation and soul cultivation were increasing. The most obvious improvement was in the cultivation of the myriad Tao treasured tome. It had reached the bottleneck of the peak of the level 6 Tao querying realm. Night Sorrow planned to break through tonight and break through to the level 7 Tao querying realm. That way, his actual combat strength would increase again. Every stage of a cultivator was divided into 3 stages. The first 3 stages were the initial stage, the middle 3 stages were the intermediate stage, and the last 3 stages were the advanced stage. The combat strength of the 3 stages was completely different. Under normal circumstances, without taking into account other factors, the combat strength of the intermediate stage and the advanced stage was quite different. Yun Huang nodded. He knew that everyone's cultivation was different. When one needed to tidy up, going into seclusion might not necessarily mean advancing. Love go little say W. Chu sitting in the tent, Night Sorrow communicated with Little Kong. After shutting off all the energy input, he took out the mystic turtle crystal and started cultivating. With the cultivation of the myriad Tao treasured tome, advancing to the Tao querying realm was easy. As long as one's cultivation was stable enough, they could advance naturally. After spending a night, Night Sorrow successfully advanced the myriad Tao treasured tome to the level 7 Tao querying realm. Night Sorrow sensed it and realized that the strength of his body had increased again. His strength had increased by quite a bit. In addition, he sensed that the Essence Chi beacon was now 4.5 feet high. Holding the reincarnation spear, Night Sorrow cultivated for a while. He felt pretty good. The advancement of the myriad Tao treasured tome had increased his combat strength by quite a bit. Your cultivation base did not increase, but I can feel that your condition is different. Additionally, your essence energy smoke has increased, said Yun Huang as he looked at Night Sorrow. Yes, I'm still cultivating my body. Last night, I made some progress in my body cultivation, Night Sorrow said. No wonder. After drinking the Sun Dragon wine, I couldn't take it anymore and wanted to go into the city to look for my little sister. But you were fine. Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow and said. Ha! That's because your willpower isn't strong enough, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Bullshit. Why don't you try having a pillar supporting the sky every day? Yun Huang looked at Night Sorrow with dissatisfaction. Ba is the only original version $J, and the other G are all square root pirated. Night Sorrow could only smile. He knew how powerful the Sun Dragon wine was. When he had just drunk it and had yet to refine it, he was also flustered. After that, the two of them continued their journey and continued to loot and kill in the Qing Ming dynasty's territory. Now, the two of them were even more cautious than before. They entered the city during the day to investigate. If they found that they could get through, they would kill at night. After massacring 3 more city lord mansions in the Qing Ming dynasty, Yishang and Yunhuang realized that things were not going well. They went into the city a few times and found supremacies with cultivation levels that Yunhuang couldn't see through lurking in the city lord mansions. Yunhuang couldn't see through their cultivation, which meant that they were at least level 4 sovereigns. The lowest was mid-level sovereigns, which wasn't something that the two of them could fight against. After a few more cities, the two of them felt helpless. After that, Night Sorrow decided to go back and attack the Tianfeng dynasty. Yunhuang agreed with Night Sorrow's idea. After knowing that the two of them had entered the Qingming dynasty's territory, the Tianfeng dynasty should let down their guard. Their plan went smoothly and they destroyed another 3 cities in the Tianfeng dynasty. After failing again, the two of them rushed towards the Night Moon City. At this time, Night Sorrow had accumulated a lot of resources. He didn't have many level 5 pills, but he had a lot of level 3 and level 4 pills. Night Sorrow planned to send them to the Night Moon Dynasty. Haha! This is great. I've never felt so good before. Yunhuang sat on the back of the silver-winged eagle and counted his gains while drinking wine. At first, Yunhuang wanted mid-grade spirit stones, but he didn't want them anymore. To him, mid-grade spirit stones were just like drinking tea or taking a teleportation circle. They had no other use. In the end, he gave them all to Night Sorrow. Because the demand for resources in the Night Moon City was high, there were more low-level Night Moon people. Night Sorrow's storage rings were filled with mid-grade spirit stones and pills. Night Sorrow believed that they would be of great help to the people of the Night Moon. He also had a lot of level 5 pills, but he didn't have many void pills. He had enough clear void pills to last for a while. Let's go back. I'll walk around the Night Moon City and see if there are any beauties. I'll find one to be my wife. If she can give birth to a son with the bloodline of the Night Moon Dynasty, that would be even better. Yunhuang said. I hope you get what you want. When the time comes, I'll give you a big gift. Night Sorrow said. No need to give me a big gift. Just give me a small bottle of your Sun Dragon wine. Yunhuang looked at Night Sorrow and said. You still dare to drink Sun Dragon wine? Don't you remember what happened last time? Night Sorrow said to Yunhuang with a smile. If I get what I want, doesn't that mean I have a wife? I only need Sun Dragon wine if I have a wife. Yunhuang looked at Night Sorrow as if he was looking at an idiot. That's true. I didn't think it through. Night Sorrow said as he rubbed his forehead. After a few days, Night Sorrow and Yunhuang arrived at Wuyo City. In less than 2 months, Wuyo City had changed a lot. The city was no longer desolate. It was full of life. It even had the spirit of Wuyo. Night Sorrow and Yunhuang walked around Wuyo City and came to the inn. Seeing that Night Sorrow and Yunhuang had returned safely, Gu Yun was very happy. Night Sorrow took out 2 storage rings and said, there are spirit stones and elixirs in here. Uncle Gu, you can use them to improve the living conditions of the people in the city. Now that the few dynasties won't attack for no reason, we can do some construction here. How can we do that? How can we take young master's resources? Gu Jun shook his head. Uncle Gu, just take it. This time, the two of us went out to rob. We're both very rich. Yunhuang said with a smile. If I'm really Yun Xiaoxiao, it's only right that I do something for Wuyo City. Night Sorrow stuffed the 2 storage rings into Gu Jun. Young master, you're really Yi Xiaoxiao. I'm not talking about your name. I'm saying that you're definitely the young master of Wuyo City. Gu Jun said. Uncle Gu, just let me know if you need anything. I'm going to take a look at Night Moon City and pay my respects to the ancestors. Wuyo City needs to continue its recovery. It's best if it's the real Wuyo City. Night Sorrow said to Gu Jun. Then, he rushed towards Night Moon City with Yunhuang. At this moment, at the city gate of Night Moon City, Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu and the god-slaying team were stopped. They were not allowed to enter the city. Can you call someone who can make the decision here? We don't have any ill intentions. Yang Lei said. We didn't say that you have ill intentions. We don't have ill intentions either. It's just that the situation in Night Moon City isn't suitable for strangers. The guard of Night Moon City said, You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.